Welcome to the Tomahawk GNCC Round 8 of the 2016 AMSOIL GNCC Racing Series presented by Maxxis, an AMA National Championship. We're here in Odessa, New York to see the best off-road racers in the world square off as they try and prevent AmPro Yamaha rider Walker Fowler from taking another win. Now let's join Rodney Tomlin on the starting line. Fowler.
Rolling to the line second today. He is second in points with 3 wins in the 2016 GNCC Championship Series. He hails from West Union, Ohio, or West Union, West Virginia, on a CST LSR Induction Solutions DeRisi SG and tire blocks backed Honda, Adam McGill. And ladies and gentlemen, Adam McGill at this time wants to pay a special tribute to those men and women returning home from the armed services with the dreaded disease of PTSD. The 22 push-ups for 22 days he's going to do right here on the starting line today. And he wants you to count along with us today, folks, in remembrance of all those folks in support of those men and women. Let's go 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, ladies and gentlemen, in remembrance of those suffering from PTSD today. Thank you, Adam McGill. And now, rolling to the line third today, he rides aboard the number 5, celebrating his 3rd year as an XC1 Pro from Bidwell, Ohio, on a Coastal Racing MSR Maxxis-backed Yamaha, the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line next today, he rides aboard the number 4, a 6-time GNCC champion, as well as he holds the most wins record in GNCC racing. From Sunbury, Pennsylvania to Maxxis Fly Racing AMSOIL backed Suzuki, Chris Bullrich. Rolling to the line today next, he is 5th in points aboard the number 11 from Manchester, Maryland, on a show hauler Canyon Motorsports GBC backed Honda, LW Landon Wolf. Rolling to the line next today, he's 6th in points after a sluggish start to this season. He's getting up to speed, though, out of Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, on an NFAB AmPro Maxxis-backed Yamaha, the Coltrane, Cole Richardson. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 3, very familiar with the New York terrain, hailing from Casca, Pennsylvania, on a JMR ATVRiders.com DWT-backed Honda, the Snake, Jared McClure. Rolling to the line next, 8th in points aboard the number 14 from Acton, Ohio. On a B&R Maxxis Moose Racing backed Yamaha, Josh Merritt. Points, celebrating his 30th season as a GNCC racer. Over 20 of those spent on the front row as an XC1 Pro. He hails from Aurora, Ohio on a GBC HMF Fly Racing Yamaha backed Yamaha, Johnny G. Johnny Gallagher. And last, and certainly not least, riding aboard the number 816 from Grain Valley, Missouri, on a Shockworks Motorsports Exit RFS Effects back GBC Tires Honda, Tucker Wyatt. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this, the Dunlop Tomahawk GNCC. As the machines begin to rev back up, and the hearts begin to pound, and the adrenaline begins to flow, we are only moments away from kicking off the second half of the 2016 GNCC Championship with one of the tightest points spreads we have seen in quite some time. And still a lot of racing left to go here in 2016. An amazing day of racing as what we are expecting, as we've already seen one major storm system pass just to the north of us. We saw temperatures drop nearly 15 degrees at one point, where it felt like the showers were about ready to fall. They missed us. They moved on north, and they moved on east. 1 minute, guys. 1 minute, as Ricky Towery lets the folks know there. And, of course, with that, we have the lingering possibilities of a 40% chance of some rain showers falling here. Would it be a bad thing? To many of the riders here today, they say no, as we do have some somewhat dry conditions in some of these open field sections. But you look in the wood sections, it's a little softer out there, and it could, create a little bit of havoc if we do get that rain. So it's kind of a double-edged sword here today, and regardless, we are at the mercy of Mother Nature and what we have here for this Tomahawk GNCC. Our second running here in the Great Seneca Highlands is, once again, we salute Carl States and his family for offering the opportunity here as we overlook the world-famous Watkins Glen Raceway, where, of course, the site of many historic motorsports events have taken place. And we are happy to be able to join that particular history here in this area with the Tomahawk GNCC, as we've had some, looking at the numbers earlier this morning, well over 100 in the youth race, over 300 in this morning's 10 o'clock race, and of course we're looking at over 200, so some 600 plus ATV riders alone today traversing the trails here at Seneca Highlands, as I like to call it, the scenic Seneca Highlands. And folks, what an amazing opportunity for folks. And looks like we're still a few moments away from getting things ready to go here as Ricky Towery is beginning to start this starting sequence. I want to let you folks back home know our next round coming up will be, of course, the Snowshoe GNCC, round number 9, the final race before the break, one of the biggest of our championship season. And we will also be celebrating graduation. So those of you in the GNCC Racing Nation going to be in attendance, you want to be recognized, pre-register for graduation ceremonies to be held in the village at 6 o'clock on Saturday night at the Snowshoe GNCC. Just go to GNCCRacing.com for more details and information. The information we're looking for right now comes out of the first turn, and it comes by way of one gentleman by the name of Ricky Towery, as he readies these riders and lets them know it's time to shut them down, guys. Shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. We are now less than 30 seconds away from going racing here in New York for our first of 2 stops. And I got to ask you, New York race fans, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Hey, that's not bad, New York, but we got to remember, we're in the heart of it all, man. We're in Winoa country. I'm going to ask you one more time. New York, are you ready to go Tomahawk GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling here at the Dunlop Tomahawk GNCC. Kickstarts are down, $250 up for grabs in the All Balls Hot Cams Whole Shot Award. And look at this, it's Chris Borich taken to the front of the pack early on. Walker Fowler and Adam McGill close in tow in second and third place positions right now. And we've got ourselves a battle here today, my friends, as we go to the XC2 Pro-Am class now. Kevin Yoho, Marty Christopherson, Randy Hamilton, Greg Covert, James Green, Kenny Schick, Levi Cohen, Andrew Connors, Cody Collier, Bryson Hops, Matthew Lindell, Justin Hoffmeyer, Brian Foltz, Dwight Pollard, and Wesley Wolf, all ready to go on Ricky Towery's cue as he readies the XC2 Pro-Am to start this race in a matter of only 10 seconds. And they're off as that green flag waves in unison. They go flying into the first turn. It is the 21 of Greg Covert, your points leader in the class right now, taking the early lead. Cody Collier nearly dead last back there on the 201. We'll be keeping an eye out on his progression throughout the course of this race as we go down next to row number 3, the Bet A 28+ class. AJ Cooch, Todd Muscala, also Kenneth Kelly, JP himself, Jeffrey Pickens, also Brian Vondercheck, Steven Stratka, Bruce Weiland, Christopher Keister, Ryan Purvis, Eric Vallejo, Thomas Barrett, Nicholas Camelli. 10 seconds. Joshua Lynn, Mike Gladzitsky, also Kevin Patterson, Joseph Bosak, James Kovich, also Justin Hussey, Walter Schumacher, Joey Margaria, and Dustin Hendershot. As they round that first turn now. And it is the 908. It says 98 on my machine there. Let's see. Maybe it's a 98 Jeff Pickens. Sorry about that. Jeff Pickens out of Shamokin, PA on a GBC Tires back machine. Colin J, Devin Feehan, Drew Landers. By the way, Devin, your top amateur last race. Also Drew Landers, Nick Royalty, Justin Lord, Hunter Hart, Ben Kolakowski, Matthew Doolittle, Garrison Paul. We're looking also at Alan Rhodes, Josh Haney, Kevin Carr, Dylan Halo, Alec Matthews, Michael Frederick, Logan Wagaman, Weston Scott, Trevor Hoffmeyer, Hunter Hoffmeyer, Adam Henninger. Less than 10 seconds to go for Alex Hunt, James Sabella, Brendan Young, Andy Tavelli, also Brandon Eicher, Braden Schick, Seth Wilson, Corey Silverthorne, Tyler Ware, Shane Kittle, Tanner Walker, and Bodie Lamoureux. Oh, what's going to happen here? It's going to be the 316 or 315. That might have been 318. Hunter Hart. I don't have a 316, so we're going with 318 out of Newfield, New York on the Ithaca Recreation Seat Concepts back machine. Junior A 22+ class. Stevie Covert, Brad Amon, also Matthew King, Nick Mastrangelo, James Mauger, Kyle Percy, Sean McCormick, Christopher Roberts, Cody Howe, Cody Moffitt, Tyler Beebe, Aaron Grunsky, Michael McAvoy. 10 seconds. Brandon Rimby, Lee Valentine, James Pat Lane, Eric Gropsky, Corey Vicker, Jason Armstrong, Mike Grossman, Robert Mapp, Colin English, Jeff Miller, Jason Smalley, Luke Shepard, Zachary Dean, Brett Cover, Josh Konachek, and Sam Ho. Rounding the first turn now. Ooh, look at this. Set 727, Zachary Dean, 23-year-old pilot out of Addison, New York, taken to the early lead, the Junior A 22+ class, as we look down next to the Senior AB 38+ class with Jeff Range, Jason Kemp, Martin Vondertreck, Ray Salzman, Travis Bishop, Sean Harkness, Thomas Lodbell, Adam Ribas, Michael Casillo, Scott Barrett, Michael Smith, Mark Batson, Mark Seidel, Rusty Repass, and Andy Cooper. 10 seconds. And they're off. Big crowd here today in New York. Lots of folks around the start and even more out in the woods as a 704 of Rusty Repass from Mooresville, North Carolina takes the lead here in the hills of New York. The Vet B 30-plus class, Jeremy Gouchard, Brian Locke, Alan Tuttle, Philip Thayer, Charlie Rogers, Stephen Swenke, Lyle Morrison, Adam Boss, Matt Boss, Corey Clark, Chris Bennett, John Sousa, James Phillip, Mark Harrop, Dale Banton, David Rudder, James Steiner, that's Big Jim Steiner, Mike Stevens, Corey Blinkowitz, also Matt Miller, Timothy Streeter. 10 seconds. Steve Barber, Timothy Ray, Daniel Luckman, and Rosario Bernay. And they're off. Row 7 of 10 now taking to the first turn here today. Wow, next row's got 44 competitors. Alan Tuttle from Mooresville, North Carolina on a Bobby Cycle Allegiance Tuttle's tire back machine. 44 riders in the College B class. Scott Pearson, Donald Boylan, Kyle Harrington, Joey Lambright, Morgan Flannery, Jeremy Kozakowski, Shane Pitzer, Logan Weisner, Kate Vanderpool, Michael Anderson, Nick Thomas, also Eric Straub, Andrew Gillette, Elijah Decker, Grant Pick, Damon Barker, Caleb Hagan, Dustin Cord, Frankie Egress, Jeffrey Middleton. 10 seconds. Along with Travis Spencer, Eric Snyder, Nathan Burkholder, Chandler Berner, Tyler Swindle, Andrew Phillips, Michael Vandeliner, Mariah Partridge, Mitchell Kidd, Kyle Lochner, Dylan Heeman, James Bateman, Kurt Fogle, Matthew Reese, Patrick Hildebrandt, Trevor Stotler, Tucker Snow, Cody Berry, Joshua Hazard, Tyler Task. Is that 217 maybe? Also got Tyler Task, Justin Keller, Corey Vandeliner, Eli Kiger, and Ethan Fetro. One to watch out for 808 of Kiger in this one. Junior B class coming up next. We got Brian Falicki, Chris Ballou, Brett Fike, Dean Tarta, Evan Timko, David Kite, Charles Dawson, Curtis Tarman, Alex Simpson, John Minam, also Steve Rosecrans, Scott Coates, Even Soda, James Blackburn, Jake Callahan, Mike Percy, Alan Sawatki, Adam Haddo, Colton Harkness, Christopher Willis, Tim Botble, Michael Smith, Dustin Gorick, Jordan Pope, and Ryan Bovis. Ready to roll in 10 seconds. All right, we just got a hold on, Ricky, hold on. So Ricky calling off the start on this one. We got a bottleneck, it looks like, going into the woods section right now. About 15 or 20 guys just now sitting on the outside of the woods line trying to get in. With 44 riders in the mayhem that we saw in that class just a moment ago, it makes a little bit of sense. So get this in order, and we'll get them all on their way here in just a moment. Just want to make sure that everyone is got a safe and fair start as possible, and these guys now all rolling, so everybody's in the woods, so we can begin that start sequence again as Ricky Tower resets to let these riders know it's time to roll in 10 seconds. Junior B 22-plus class ready to roll into that first turn. Our final start of the afternoon now off and underway. They jockey for position through that first turn. It's a dogfight for reals. These guys are fighting it out right now, and it's going to be maybe the 601. I think that was Alan Zawadzki out of Elma, New York, quite possibly. They got the whole shot in that Junior B class, but regardless, he's going to have his hands full as they wind their way through the grass field sections here at the Seneca Highlands. And, of course, that sets the stage for us. The starts are all underway, and we've got a major battle already starting to ensue up front. Chris Boards grabbed the early lead. Can he hang on to it, and can he get that first win in 20 races? Stick around to find out. Of course, our good friends Mr. Fred Andrews and Matt Watson will be joining us right after this.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires. Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
The Andersons discovered life is easier with an Outlaw RV. The Outlaw is a complete home on wheels with a multifunctional garage. Getting on the road has never been quicker. The Outlaw is made to fit the lifestyle of today's active families. So stop roughing it and start enjoying your weekends. Find the Thor Motor Coach Outlaw that fits your needs at GarageRVs.com today.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
Hi, welcome back to the GNCC Live here at the Tomahawk race in beautiful New York.
Right now we're looking at the 6 mile marker. Well, it's 7 mile marker, sorry. We're waiting for our leaders to be coming through. It looked like Walker Fowler had the early start, went into the first turn, got a little bit wide. Chris Sport snuck underneath, and it's Walker Fowler back in the lead. So what we were talking about really doesn't matter at this point. It was Walker Fowler in second. Now he's back in the lead, and it looks like he's put a little bit of time on second place, which is still Chris Borich in second and Adam McGill in third place.
Yeah, I have to believe right now that a little bit of that early jockeying really paid off with the conditions in the field right now, able to open up just a bit of a gap. Now, early in a race like this, these guys might give each other a little bit of distance to stay out of that dust, but not going to be much of an issue in the woods as we're seeing. But, of course, as we break out in the field, it's going to be a little different strategy as far as follow the leader, wanting to stay a little off of the guy ahead of you, wanting to stay off to the side. So going to come into play as the day wears on.
You know what I noticed, too, Megawatt, is on the start, when Chris Sports got in the lead ahead of Walker Fowler was a lot of urgency to get around him. He was trying to outside, inside him right off the bat, so he knew he's got a game plan for today, it looks like. It looks like Walker Fowler wants to get in the lead. He wants to set the pace, and he wants to tell these guys, catch me if you can. Interesting that you say that. I stood right over here on the edge and watched that start. And like you said, as he fell back, as they accelerated down the hill, he easily caught the second place machine and put himself in a great position right there. And as we see, by the time they made it to the 6 mile mark, 7 mile mark, already up front and doing what Walker does. Yeah, I think Walker's trying to carry his momentum over from last weekend or 2 weeks ago in Ohio when he went there and pretty much had that race, dominated that race. But, you know, Chris Borich had a good ride, and also Adam McGill. Adam McGill actually was catching Walker Fowler that last race, and then I'm not sure really what happened to him. Did you ever hear about what happened to him in that last lap? Yeah, got tangled up with somebody on the very end of that lap, and actually had to work their way back down the hill, get the quad separated. It was a lapper, and they came together on the hill, and the guy even asked Adam, what do you want to do? Adam said, well, what we have to do is back down off the hill, get them separated, and go from there. And very unfortunate chain of events, and it was just Adam and the other guy. There was really no mud fleas, really no help to get that thing separated, and that ultimately cost him. That's too bad. That's part of GNCC racing. He was just trying to make things happen and got tangled up with the lappers. You can see here right now, we're out in the open sections. We got a lot of big open field areas here, and it's a little bit dusty, kind of like last year. But you know, the only good thing is you get through this dust section in the woods. The woods are really nice, and that's where most of the racing is being taking place today. Yeah, nothing but praise actually for the track from our podiums this morning, from our WXC ladies, from the 4x4 pros, from our schoolboy winners, our overall winners. Nothing but praise for the track inside the woods. And, you know, naturally, doesn't matter where you're at in a field this time of year, you're going to have a bit of dust. I don't think anything much worse than the normal conditions. No, you know, with Mother Nature like this, everybody wants to have sunshine and nice weather. Luckily, we've got some breeze, so that'll help blow the dust off the track as these guys come around. You know, and when it's dusty like this, though, you almost want to stay as close as you can to the guy, you know, just the opposite of what you think, because you got to kind of watch his helmet or watch his shoulders or something. If he hits a bump, you kind of tense up for that bump, because the further back you are in the dust like that, you can't see what's coming. And you can see right here in the woods how nice the woods are right now. And here comes Walker Fowler, our leader. And the XC, the thumbs up there. Looks like he's having a good time. And yeah, he's not waiting for anybody.
I tell you, man, the conditions look great, and as far as Walker's concerned, it's a great time to make a break for it. There comes the number 4 machine. That's Old Yeller and Chris Bithell in that second position right now. And,
or Borich.
Or, I'm sorry, Borich. And I can tell you right now, when we watch the roost fly, when we watch the dirt in the woods, almost looks perfect to me, Fred.
Yeah, you know, you couldn't ask for any better sections of racing in the woods. You can see the GNCC crew has done a great job. We've got some roots. We've got a little bit up. There's Adam McGill. Adam McGill has fallen back. He must have ran into a little bit more trouble somewhere out on the track there.
You know, obviously had some issues. I believe he was third going into the woods, so might have picked an alternative line right there. Might have just got together with somebody, but definitely has fallen back a little bit off the pace of the lead pack.
Yeah, you know, and on a track like today, and there's Bryson Neal talking to his mechanic. Looks like Barry Hawk maybe he's talking to, or somebody on the headset there. He's telling he's got some kind of problem. So I look for him to be in the pits here the first lap of the Coastal pit crew area and let those guys do some work to his bike. I'm not sure what it could be, but looked like he was pretty excited about something was wrong.
Obviously, if he's stopping there at mile marker 9 and having a talk with one of the team members, definitely something up, whether it's with him, whether it's with the quad, not sure, but something we're going to keep an eye on. Like you said, I expect he will be making his way into the pits on lap number 1.
You know, that brings up a good point right there. It's nice having radios out there in the woods. Having some pit crew in there, you can say, hey, this is wrong, and then the pit crew can have all that stuff ready when you pull in. Bam, they know what's going on. They can get us fixed, get you in and out of the pits as quick as you can. And there goes Johnny Gallagher by right here in this section.
Yeah, as we take a look at Gallagher working his way through there, once again, I got to just say that as we look at the conditions right now, these guys are in for a great race. They've got good conditions in there. This one, of course, going 2 hours. I think this track's really going to survive and really last today.
Yeah, I don't look for the track to give away too much. You know, this right here we can see it's got some nice dirt. They do have some rocks here. I did walk some of the track, and over on the one back section, there's a lot of little rocks sticking up, so it's just not all this nice primo dirt like that. There's some rock sections to test these guys, to test their suspension, bang some stuff off the skid plates and stuff like that. But no, this track's really good. It's our second year here. We're really fortunate to have a nice place like this. It's got big parking. We're on like a little knoll here. We got the wind blowing, and it's a really nice facility.
Yeah, you know, when you take a look at the conditions overall here today, I don't think we could ask for much better. I think that we had like 105 ATVs this morning. Those guys had an absolute blast. They certainly loved the track. Our amateur race there at 10 o'clock, all those guys had was good things to say. They absolutely love the technical parts of the track, the dirt in the woods, and, you know, work it and let it breathe.
You know, and then getting back to a little bit of off section about today, the start. I think the start was really important, and that's why Walker Fowler wanted to get in the lead and set the pace and let those guys eat his dust. You know, you're out there in front. You got things going on. He knows what he needs to do. He needs to get that points built back up. Right now, his points got smaller and smaller, and then he got a break last weekend when Adam McGill had a little tangle with that lap rider, so now he gained a little bit of points, but he wants to get that big cushion going into snowshoe.
Yeah, that's exactly his game plan. And when you talk about the intensity level of that first lap, here's the deal, Fred. I got to believe that, you know, when Chris got the whole shot, Walker just determined right then that he was going to hold it on till whatever mile marker to make that pass. He was going to get on him. He was going to get around him as soon as possible. And it didn't matter where that was, whether it was in the field or in the woods on a hill or not. Walker wanted to be in front up until he got there.
No, that's for sure, Mega White. We're 20 minutes into the lap right now, so we're probably going to have 25, 26-minute lap. I mean, I'm not sure. He said it was just over 10 miles. Is that what the track is?
Yeah. If we're about 11 miles and you're looking at 20 minutes right now to mile 9, I'm going to guess you're right, somewhere around 25-minute lap time.
Yeah, so you know, that's good. So it looks like we're going to be having another 4-lap race. They're going to come around this time. The pit crew is going to give them the board in the pit area, tell them where they're at, what's going on. The next lap we'll see a nice little fuel stop. So typical GNCC, nice 4-lap race, no figuring out on their gas stuff, just 4 laps and go.
Right, yeah, make it happen in those 4 laps. It kind of gives everybody the same strategy, kind of puts everybody on the same schedule outside of course, damage or crash damage, that type of thing. So everybody pretty much on the same schedule and using the same strategy.
Yes, sir. Here we are. Look at, here comes Walker Fowler. And I noticed Walker Fowler. He's done a lot of this off the handlebar hand pumping. And he's excited again today.
That guy's feeling the flow, no question about it. And to talk to him, he takes a quick look back there. That's confidence in that situation. Normally, you always race forward. You say never look back, that type of thing. But I can tell you, in that situation, looking back just that touch, you can see hard and another little thumbs up as he makes his way back down past the starting area.
And I think it's a different kind of look back, too. It's not a look back to say, hey, are they catching me? It's a look back to say, are you still back there?
As soon as he saw that, motivation for him, like you said, it wasn't a look back out of desperation by any means. It was a look back out of satisfaction.
Yeah, in that Ampro Yamaha, him and Mark Notman, those guys have been working really hard, and it seems like they've really made something click. I know he won last week on the brand new bike, and everybody, says it's the brand new bike, but I think the bike is the bike. Those guys bring the bike every week to the race. It's 100% perfect. If it's something worn on it, they're putting a new part. So having a brand new bike is nice in terms of new bike, but that bike's like brand new every time he comes to the race. So him and Mark Notman have worked together, got the perfect setup on the bike right now, and it's really showing, and they're just doing what they're supposed to do. They're here to win races for the Ampro Yamaha team.
Fred, I couldn't agree with you more. There was a lot of hype. Oh, a new bike and this and that. Well, guys get new bikes throughout the course of the season, but none of these guys on this row go to the line with anything wore out. From a cable to a set of pads to a clutch plate to a washer. None of these guys go to the line with anything on that bike worn out. So Mark's done his work, Walker's done his work, and right here are the fruits of their labor out front and leading again.
Yes, they are. And there's our boy Chris Borge here, local Pennsylvania boy, close to New York area, and he's here riding along in second place, and you can see he's losing time to Walker, but he's staying consistent where he's at, so he's still in second, which is still a great job coming through Pro Row right now.
Let me tell you something about Chris I noticed these days. When we talk on the podium or in the post-race interviews, one thing about Chris, the guy, I think he's enjoying racing more than he has in quite some time. He's happy with his program, happy with his equipment, and the guy seems to be having more fun than he has in the past few seasons.
Yeah, I think last year when Chris went to a different brand and he was struggling all year long, it kind of took the fun out of it for him. This year he's back on Old Yellow, and I think he's learned that the pace has gotten so much faster. That one year that he had a bad year, these other guys have gained ground on him so much that he's kind of got to regroup and get himself back together to try to win some races. And he's doing that on Old Yellow. He's having fun, and if you're not having fun, you're never going to get better. You're not going to want to do it, and he's having fun again, so I look for big things out of him.
Yeah, for sure about it. And when he gets up there and he's that comfortable in that catch when he's up front, man, it's bad news for everybody else.
Yes, it is. Here we are at Pro Row waiting for some more guys to come through. And I think that was Bryson Neal right there going off in the woods. It'd be interesting to see if our camera crew can get him coming in the pit area, Megawatt, to see what exactly they are going to do to his bike.
Oh, okay.
Huh. Well, that's weird. He stopped and told his pit crew guy out in the woods that he was having problems, or maybe he fixed it, or maybe it was just a noise he heard or some clanging around and whatever it was fell off, or it could have been a rock in the skid plate. He heard something and it went away, and now he's back racing.
Absolutely. Could be any number of things, Fred, but awful strange that you stop out there at, I believe it was mile marker 8, but as we're told from the guys in the trailer, didn't even let up on pit road, didn't even glance over at the pit. So obviously confident in his situation right now, and Bryson Neal back up to race speed again.
Yes, he is. Here's some more guys coming through a Pro right now. And the Pro Row area is really nice. We got some good green grass for these guys to come into. No dust flying here. You can see the crowd rooting them on. So everybody's got their favorites, and everybody's here to have some fun. And it looks like, they're in for a good ride today. There we go. Seems like nobody's having trouble going through Pro. I don't think there's really any spots here, Megawatt, that are really bad for these guys. No big mud holes. There's some uphills and some steep downhills, but it's easy to go down the hills. Last year they had some uphills here and people were getting stuck, but you can always get to the bottom. So I don't look for these guys to really have any real big bottlenecks or big mud holes for sure. The field sections are a little bit dusty, but that's going to be hard on your air filter. So these guys probably aren't going to be wanting to get out there in that deep dust and You know, it looks cool for photos and stuff, but it's not good on the machine. They're going to want to start hanging in a little bit, trying to save the bike, because 2 hours is a long time. With all these big dust berms like that, you got to start thinking about making your bike finish to the end.
When that stuff turns to silt, turns to talcum powder, man, it's going to get in everywhere, and you're exactly right. Try to preserve that machine as much as possible. Stay out of those big powdery berms. Kind of slide through the slick areas a little bit. But on a day like today, man, it's straight racing. Like you said, probably 4 laps here based on our lap times. Everybody's going to be on basically the same pit schedule, and unless there's a major DNF, don't think you're going to have any real issues out of those top guys.
No, that's for sure. And, you know, I looked at, like I say, Walker Fowler's way out there, but I'm going to be interested to see. Bryson Neal's been the guy who's always come through the pack, and right now we're looking at Walker Fowler come through at the 3-mile marker, coming on the other side of the section of the property, getting ready to cross the road. We got our GNCC crew there, making sure the roads are safe to cross on, and man, Walker Fowler is all business today, wheeling up these hills, wheeling over bumps, and man, he's just getting after it, coming up the hill. He's got the whole blue crew there. Mark Notman giving him the board, waving the towel, and there's Walker just looking. Where's everybody at?
I'm telling you, Fred, looks like he's trying to prove a point right now. He's super aggressive. Got that body position toward the front of that quad. As you notice, coming through the corners, really keeping that elbow up, keeping that throttle on. And I tell you, the way he's glancing around, he's watching that gap increase corner after corner.
You know, I think maybe Adam McGill caught him off guard last race when he reeled him in, and Walker Fowler's going to show that this is not going to happen. And here comes Chris Borge right now, and his dad Joe giving the board, telling him to rooting him on, telling him to get going. And you can see a little bit difference in the corner in there. Chris Borge is out there in that big dust berm, and Walker Fowler, where he was hugging all the insides, trying to save the air filter, and you know, just staying out of that big dust. And I'm not sure right now who is in third. So it looks like Adam McGill's maybe moved in it. Wow, Adam McGill has moved back into third place. He's on fire right now. He fell back a little bit, and now he's back into third place just past Cole Richardson. So Adam McGill knows he can't let Walker Fowler or Chris Borch and those guys get too far ahead if he wants to make this a race.
Yeah, you know, different people use different things for motivation, and I can tell you, you get past McGill, or McGill makes a mistake on his own, or chooses a bad line, that motivates him. That's what gets that guy up. He wants to be in the lead pack at all times. When that white flag flies, he wants to be within striking distance, whether it's first, second, third place. He wants to be wheel-to-wheel with those guys, and his motivation right now is try to get up there and put a beat on Walker, at least get the guy in sight.
Yeah, you know, Adam McGill tells himself he is a top guy. He needs to be there every race, and when he's not, he's going to do whatever it takes to get there. And right now, he is in that situation. He's crawling his way up into the front, and you can see Bryson Neal just went by, and I'm not sure what place he was in, but that's a guy I kind of want to keep an eye on because his signature is like Sneaky Snake. He kind of just works his way up to the front. So it's interesting to see right now. It shows him here on the screen in 9th place. So I'm wondering where he's at right now. We'll see next time he comes around. But he's a guy to look at. Cole Richardson shows on the boards in 3rd, which we know he's not. Adam McGill has moved into 3rd place. Cole Richardson was 4th. It looks like maybe Jay Shadron has moved back to 6th place, and then Joshua Merritt, and then Landon Wolf, and then Jared McClure, and Bryson Neal. So these guys are getting along. Here comes Johnny Galler again right now. Got his little crew there yelling at him, telling him to get going.
That's all fast company right there, Fred. Holy cow. You know, a guy gets in the middle of that crew right there. You better be able to keep the pace. You better latch onto that set of fenders ahead of you. If not, it's just like NASCAR. You're going to get sent out, and you're going to slide right back.
All right, now we got GNCC Live Fast Facts. How many acres of land does it Seneca Highlands facility consist of? So we want you guys to hashtag GNCC Live. Tell us how many acres of land does the Seneca Lake Highlands facility consist of? A, you think it's 350, 600, 475, or 800? Just hashtag that and let us know what you think. And let's go to a commercial break right now. We'll see what's going on with our guys when we get back.
Absolutely.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection. Max's time. CST Tires.
You smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Yeah, WildTech, that full-size motorcycle. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. Can't explain it. Everything I learned applies to now. Seeing your motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour, oh, definitely rewarding. My name's Mike. My school's WildTech.
Get on the fast track to a career, turn pro at WildTech.
I've been with Leatt for a lot of years, and I know the dedication they have for safety. When they told me they would come out with a helmet, I signed right up.
By and looks like he's really got that lead stretched out right now over Chris Borch, Adam McGill, and Cole Richardson.
Exactly his strategy at this point in the game. Here we are on lap number 2, and simply checking out, trying to hide from those guys. If they can't see him, they can't really reel him in, and the more distance he puts between...
Adam McGill. Adam McGill is in second place right now.
So Adam made his way past Old Yeller and Chris Borsch, and holy cow, there comes Chris right there. So still within sight of him, but that just tells me McGill motivated one more time, wants to get to the front, and already just chopping away the real estate.
And there's Cole Richardson coming there in fourth place, so maybe that's why Walker Fowler's in such a hurry. Maybe he knows he's got to get out there because it looks like Adam McGill's chasing him down.
That's a good possibility. Adam McGill is chasing him down. Cole Richardson starting to close in some time, and I can tell you this, McGill doesn't want to be behind anybody, and when you put him in that lead pack, he's going to do whatever's necessary to become the dominant male, the alpha male in that pack. And I can tell you right now, as soon as he gets a glimpse of that rear fender, he's going to be all over Walker Fowler.
And you know right now, Adam McGill was coming through the pack, passing people with the dust. So now he's got no dust to Walker Fowler. So is Adam McGill going to be able to catch up to him? Is he going to be able to put his head down and close that big gap? It's going to be interesting to see here next time we see these guys. But okay, we asked you a question before we went to break about how many acres of land does the Seneca Highland facility consist of? Boom, 800 acres.
And
that is a lot of land for one person to own.
No
and be nice enough to let us ride on.
You know, amazing plot of property, 800 acres, and a little bit of everything. Some elevation change, some meadows, some tight technical stuff that I keep hearing about these moving trees in New York on the podium for some reason. Got a ton of moving trees here. But what we see is these 800 acres being fully used, having different terrain on each section there. And like you said,
okay, it might say the John Penton up here, but we're at the Tomahawk 100, so I think that's the wrong heading on there. But Adam McGill, at the last check, was in 5th place. And we just saw him on the screen, and now he's in 2nd place.
Yeah, watched him make that move. So that tells you how hard he's pushing right now. That tells you how fast the pace is and what the intensity level is to bring that thing from about 6th place to 2nd.
Yeah, and it also shows you, too, Adam McGill's not waiting for something to happen. He's making things happen. He knows he can't afford to give any more points up to Walker Fowler, so he's got to make it happen for himself. So he's out there pushing it hard. He's gone from 5th to 2nd, and we're going to be interested to see, like I said earlier, to see how close he can get to Walker Fowler. Now we're going to see the urgency with Walker Fowler's pit crew to say, hey, Adam McGill is coming. Because Walker's going to want to know that, and they're going to want him to know what the difference is. And I think this is just some more of the back markers after they come across the street, coming through the big field sections. And eating a little bit of dust here. You know, if we still have a chance of rain. We could use a little bit of rain. It wouldn't hurt a thing here.
No, not at all. Thought about a 30% chance this afternoon. Might be a passing shower, might be a bit of a thunderstorm, but the opportunity does exist. I believe it's about 30% right now. Would not hurt anybody's feelings for a little bit of rain. Not going to hurt. Not going to hurt any of the equipment. Not going to get things muddy or weighed down, that type of thing. But what we'll do is it will settle the dust some bit and give just a bit more traction in the woods.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, it'd be nice, a little bit nicer here in the open. It's not going to affect the guys tomorrow at all. This ground's pretty dry, so it would soak it up really good. But you can see these guys are not letting the dust slow them down. There's a lot of close racing here. There's 5 or 6 guys nose to tail right now.
There's a lot of blind riding going on in there, Fred.
Yeah, they're just kind of, like I said earlier, they're kind of just watching the helmet in front of them. If the helmet in front of them hits a bump, they kind of get ready for that same bump. Or if they're going left or right, you got to go just follow the helmet in front of you. See right there, you see the 2 different lines right there. One guy going inside, one guy going wide, trying to stay out of the dust, but he's still trying to make something happen. You know, if that guy bobbles a little bit, the other guy high-lows him, and boom, he's right around him.
And definitely a really different approach in that corner. You know, those guys basically side by side, but 2 totally different lines. And the rider to the left actually able to get out of that big dust cloud and make up a little real estate.
Yeah, because, you know, we talked about the air filter, but let's talk about our lungs a little bit. I mean, you're there and you're sucking in all that dust. It's not good for you either. So you got to try to stay out there in the fresh line, get some fresh air if you can, because you can only breathe that dust for so long, because come Monday or Sunday evening, you're going to be coughing up some serious dust yourself.
You got it. And it's a matter of how long that guy can maintain the breathing. The goggles right now, you're going to have the sticky eyes, so a lot involved in technique here in the fields right now. And I'm with you, Fred. If possible, you want to be as close to that. Kind of act as a spoiler or a wind foil and kind of split that dust and let it go down around below you. But if you have to back off 8, 10, 12 feet, you better be off to the side of that guy, or else you're just going to see nothing but dust.
Yes, sir, that's for sure. We got a couple more guys coming through. And, you know, with Walker Fowler's win at the last race, I think that pretty much gave him a lot of confidence coming in today. But then I also think Adam McGill's got just as much confidence, because he actually ran him down until he caught the lapper, which is part of racing, and got tangled up in him. But Adam McGill's got the same approach to this race like he did last race. He was trying to win that race and do whatever he could to win. Sure, he got caught up with a lapper, but he wanted to win. So let's go to Walker Fowler right now, and let's talk to him a little bit and see what he had to say after this last round at the John
Definitely
Penton.
feel ready to go and prepared. You know, the Penton was a big race for me. I really had to kind of dig down and after a 3-race in a row loss, and just kind of, like you said, restake my claim and what I know is mine. And got a great start, and my first lap was phenomenal with an almost 40-second lead. And then things kind of definitely got tight again there at the end of the race. McGill ended up making up all that time on me. And you know, to end up pushing, whether it was a mechanical failure on his bike because of pushing hard that last lap, or it was just a mistake on his end, we still won by 2.5 minutes basically. So that was pretty cool, and I needed that, and it definitely makes me feel like I'm putting in the work that I need to be successful.
Well, there you have it. This Walker Fowler. Tell us about how
Things worked out. And here comes Adam McGill right now, and Chris Borch is not letting him go. So Chris Borch may have got a different angle of racing right now. He may be saying, "Okay, Adam McGill, you're going a little better than me. You go around me, and I'm going to follow you."
Yeah, in a situation like this, this early in the race, and with these guys kind of breaking away, little follow the leader never hurt. And being in third or second place right now, just about as good as leading at this point in the race.
Yeah, and you know that it is easier to follow than lead. So he can just do what he's doing and watch what bumps he's hitting. Your body can do the same thing. Here's Cole Richardson coming through that same section. He's still in fourth place on his Ampro Yamaha. And is that the legend Barry Hawk?
It might be right there. Looks like he's got that coastal shirt on.
The GNCC legend himself. And here comes some more guys coming through here. Looks like maybe Jay Shadron and Sneaky Snake and Wolf. So there you go. These guys are, there's a lot of tight racing. Even though these guys aren't 1, 2, or 3, we got racing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's a lot of racing going on out there. And here comes Walker Fowler through the infield section. getting up on the front of that bike and just letting that Ampro Yamaha eat on these big sweeping turns, getting on the brakes hard. And man, it's really kind of cool to watch the dusty conditions like that, because you can see how much the bike is really floating around out there. It's getting traction, but there's just enough dust to make it look like he's floating. And he's making it look awful easy, too. You can see he's sitting up way outsides on the corners and cutting across, trying to stay out of all that deep dust, trying to save that motorcycle, and he knows he's got 2 more laps left to go.
Yeah, we watched a couple different riders using different corner styles. Like you said, he's trying to keep it inside, keep it on the hard pack, trying not to let anything fill up with dust, including these lungs. And as we take a look at some of these other guys, really wanting to go out and use that cushion, use that berm out there just a bit. And as we watch McGill and Borish come through, both of these guys drifting off into that deeper stuff just a bit, and looks like the advantage goes to Walker Fowler to me right now on that inside cornering.
Yeah, it looks like, too, he's carrying a little bit more speed, but these guys here have hooked up together, so this could be bad news for Walker Fowler also. You know, when you get 2 guys hooked up, they're pushing each other. Walker Fowler is pushing it, but he doesn't really know how fast he's really going, and I'm only guesstimating this, that it was like 36 seconds and 16 seconds on. I think Walker Fowler's got about 25 seconds on these guys. We'll see when you get the time, you know, live timing and scoring when they come in. But if those 2 guys are hooked up together, you know, they can push each other and pull each other up to Walker Fowler. And right now, Walker Fowler's just going as fast as he can, as he thinks he can. You know, can he go faster? Yeah, he probably can, but does he need to? He's not sure at this point until he comes around the pro road and they're going to say, hey, these guys are coming, or they're not.
Yeah, he's his own rabbit right now, and it's really hard to judge and gauge exactly what's going on behind you, how fast Borish and McGill are coming up the track on him. So for those guys to pick on each other, or pick up with each other and start pushing each other, going to be way more of an advantage to them than it is to Walker Fowler. A lot of times guys will hook up together and they'll start hindering each other a little bit. They'll start making some mistakes here and there, getting wide through the corners, and that kind of messing around really slows both people down. But that's not the case right here with Borish and McGill. These 2 guys racing forward, got enough distance between them that they're not on top of each other, and I can tell you, one wants to get away and the other wants to stay with him, and that's a good position to be in for those 2 guys.
Yeah, and I think also those 2 are friends. They've been racing together a long time, so they've got some trust built up in them, and they know how close they can get to each other. And there's McGill and Borish. Looks like they were hung up a little bit back there. Looks like, I think maybe Adam McGill might have caught a tree, and Chris Borish is so close behind. Boom, runs in the back of him, and now they're lost a little bit of time to Walker Fowler there, so they're going to have to regroup and get going again.
That's the backside of what we were talking about, Fred. We're talking about 2 riders getting together and really picking up some speed. But when you guys are that close, if one guy makes a mistake, normally both of you make a mistake, and you can compound that mistake. Luckily for those guys, they didn't get the bikes wedged together. They didn't shove one of the bikes tighter onto a stump or a tree or that type of thing. So an adverse effect of those 2 riding together here on this lap.
Yeah, and they went by. Cole Richardson just went by. Looks like he's actually kind of keeping pace with those guys. I don't think they're pulling on him that much. Here comes a sneaky snake, and I believe that's 5th place right there, Jared McClure.
And you know, we've got
Wesley Wolf.
Yeah, we've got tight racing all the way back through the 8th, 9th, and 10th position right there. The gaps are staying very similar, but we just got guys in different positions amongst those gaps. So there we see Bryce and Neal.
Looks like he's starting to pull forward a little bit, just like I said. I think that's his thing. He likes to be that little train. He starts chugging along, and he's getting closer to the front also.
Yeah, absolutely. Let things get sorted out for a lap or 2, and then start putting the program together. And there he comes, working his way back up through the course.
The only problem with that scenario is for poor Bryson Neal is the front runners are going so fast. By the time he gets up there, I don't think he's, you know, in a 2-hour race like we have right now, those guys may be too far for him to even think about getting up to the podium position.
Exactly. That's a different situation right there. But I can tell you, when you see a guy stop and tell a team member something on lap 1, man, you've just a lot of negative thoughts go through your head. But for him to actually make up a little time right now and put himself back in contention here inside the top 10, that's one thing. But making up that gap to get clear of the front, that's going to be another situation here today.
Yeah, and I think actually it was his handguard or something was falling off, because I noticed that it's missing now. So maybe that thing was flapping around, and he told Barry, hey, this needs to come off, and whatever was loose, the bolt fell out all the way and just lost it all the way, so there's no reason to stop if it's not there.
Yeah, here's the deal. That thing's going to be way more of a distraction flapping around right there. It's not going to be doing any good. It could possibly get down in the lever, down in the cable, so just get rid of it.
Yes, sir. And you can see the track right there is still holding up good. We're waiting on the next few guys to come through here. It's kind of neat to see how it's all nice and green, and the leaves are all coming through, and the dirt looks like it's nice and rich, and we got a little bit of roots coming up, so it's not real rooty, not real rocky in this section, but like I said earlier, there are some nice little rock section, little rock gardens type of stuff that give you a little bit of test. But this track's got everything, like you said. You know, we got the big fields, we've got the nice dirt here, we've got the road crossings, we've got some uphills, we've got some downhills. So these guys have really got a good track today.
I'm amazed that the roots haven't developed any more than they have. As you look at that dirt, you see a little bit of light dirt out into the outside of that corner, into the extreme inside, but the rest of it's just that nice powder brown color, and that tells me there's still a little bit of moisture left in that soil, and it's being brought up by these guys right now.
Yeah, these guys are definitely bringing a little bit of moisture to the surface, so it's going to dry out a little bit for tomorrow's racing, but as you can see, talking about today's racing, all these guys here, they're nose to tail, and they're going after it here through these wood sections, chasing all these arrows through the woods.
You know, they showed Josh Merritt there in 6th position. Josh having a tough go in the early part of this season, so a great start here for him today. Be curious to see what he can do with that.
And right there goes Johnny Gallagher again right there, going through the wood section here. So right now it's Walker Fowler, Chris Borich is wrong. Nope. Adam McGill is 2nd place. Chris Borich is 3rd, and Cole Richardson was 4th the last time we saw them. So the bottom of the screen right now is a little bit off, but our leaders are going. It's going to be Walker Fowler is on the move for good reasons. Looks like Adam McGill is going to try catching up to him today.
Well, I can tell you this much. What we saw at the very beginning of this race is a good indication of how things are going to go. 3 guys really wanted that start. 3 guys have tried to separate themselves from the pack, and those 3 guys right now are the guys we're talking about, making the story. Walker Fowler, Adam McGill, and Chris Borich. Speak of the devil, they said. There he comes right there. The leader himself on that number 1 machine, trying to make a break for it, working his way back up into the finish line right now. This is the 11-mile marker, and he's working his way up into timing and scoring right now, out on lap number 2 right now.
You know, I'm sure his pit crew have already told him that Adam McGill and Chris Borich have hooked up, so it'd be interesting to see his urgency right now. Is he really going to start pushing it, or are all those guys catching him? And like you said, right now it looks like he's just a little bit of slipping and sliding right there, making things look easy, floating around out there, and he is on the gas. When they come through timing and scoring, I like to see what the split time is. He's a nice little inside turn right there, and you can see Walker's looking for him right now.
And Walker has clean track. Oh, he gets it up on 2 wheels right there. Loses just a bit of time in that hard right there, not sticking it out into that berm to be able to swing it around. And as you say that, here comes our 2nd place rider, Adam McGill, quite a ways back right now. So knows he has his work cut out for him, and as you know, does his best work in the second half of these races.
Yeah, I would say these guys aren't as close as what I thought they were by that last picture we saw, because Walker Fowler was out of the picture before those guys came in. There were some ups and downs and some turns to go through, and here comes Walker Fowler right now, headed towards Pro Row, so they're all going to be fueling this time. So they're going to be coming in, getting a little advice from their pit crew, get a little bit of fuel, get a little fresh goggles, because the dust is probably all filling up in them, so we'll see how quickly Walker Fowler can get in and out here.
Looks like a basic pit stop, as you said, throwing some fresh goggles on, filling the bike up, spraying a little bit of fluid up in the radiator, and back out and at it. Just business as usual right there on that pit stop.
Yeah, that's the best way the pit stop to be. Nobody can be excited, because if you start getting excited, the pit crew gets excited, and the whole thing goes bad.
That's when we start making mistakes.
Yeah, Walker Fowler came in nice and quiet, and just like it's another ride in the park, and those guys got him in and out in quick time. Now we're going to see Adam McGill and Chris Borich coming to the pit area. We'll see how their pits go. I'm sure they'll be doing the same thing. Gas for sure, maybe some goggles, maybe not some goggles. I know I didn't like to change my goggles unless I had to, because it's already sealed. You got a good seal. You don't have any dust in there. Sometimes when you take them off and put them on, you get dirt in your eye. Then you're in worse shape. There's Adam McGill getting some fuel right now, getting a little bit of drink.
And he feels the same way you do. The chance of something falling down in those goggles is greater than the risk or the advantage of maybe just having a clean lens. So no goggle change there, cleaning out the radiator, throwing a splash of gas to it, and back out on the track.
Yep, Chris Borich, same thing. A little bit of gas, no goggles, get himself a cold drink, and they're both going to try to chase this guy down right here. Oh, I'm sorry, I think that's Cole Richardson's at. Nope, that's Walker, sorry, yep. So Walker's out in the lead right now. Adam McGill's in 2nd. And here comes Cole Richardson in right now, Walker Fowler's teammate. He's getting the same thing. He's getting a little bit of fuel. They're trying to give him water. He said, no, I'm good. No goggles. 4th place right now.
Yeah, like we said, everybody on the same schedule right now. No major crashes out there, no damage as of yet. So these guys using the same strategy on the same schedule, and it's just going to be a matter on the next 2 laps, man. Who can really put the power to the ground? Who can shave the time off? Who can close up the real estate on the guy in front of them?
Now that's interesting. Everybody stopped on the 2nd lap but Bryson Neal. Bryson Neal is gone. So they must have been doing a little bit of fuel calculation and thinking, hey, we can go one more lap.
It's amazing. Right when you think there was something wrong with Bryson's machine, right when you think something's happening. Is that Adam McGill?
No.
No. I'm sorry.
Nope. So it looks like
it did look like his jersey, that's for sure.
So it looks like Bryson Neal's going to test the water a little bit. He's going to go for 3-lap strategy. Everybody has to stop once. So
right.
He's just going to go for 3 instead of 2. And that helps him get with that group. But now he's with that group, he's got to get ahead of that group and get away from him because he has to stop. So if he's in that group and he has to stop, that group is gone.
Yeah, any time gain will certainly be lost next time around when he makes his pit stop. But as we say, you can't win by following and by just trying to change up the strategy a little bit, trying to pick up a few positions there.
I mean, look at the guy who won the Indianapolis 500 this year. He gambled on his fuel and he won. So
he certainly did.
Sometimes you gotta try things. You never know if it's gonna work until you try it, and
you know what?
The dice.
He must have heard us talking about everybody having the same strategy and changed his strategy, making something happen there, trying to make a difference.
Yeah, they must be with the mileage and that. You can tell how much fuel you use. You can calculate out pretty good. I know on the motorcycle side, those guys have really got it down to an art. They know how many laps exactly they can go, and it's kind of just carrying over to the ATV side right now, I think.
I got to agree with you on that. And as we take a look, we're about 52 minutes in. Of course, this one's going to go about 2 hours, and we're guessing, of course, 4 laps on this one. Part of our technical team out there right now. Dee's out there in the middle of the woods.
That's good, though. We got guys out there the whole time walking around, making sure the banners are up, making sure everything's in the right place, and making sure all the lines are good. And that's part of the GNCC racing. There's always somebody out there circling around, looking at things, checking things out. And here comes Walker Fowler right now up through the field section. He's going to cross the road section here, coming to one of our checkpoints. And he is on the gas. Look at Walker Fowler go. Catches some lap riders right now. I'm sure he's coming in there. He's probably yelling and screaming and revving his motors, telling these guys, hey, I'm coming, guys. Look out. I don't want to eat your dust. Hey, Rodney.
Hey,
nice to meet you.
Fred Andrews. Hey, nice to see you as well, my friend. I've been taking care of some technical stuff. You dig yourself a hole sometimes and you wonder, how'd I get down here? But we dug ourselves out, and here we are. At the beginning of this race, I'm not going to say that Walker dug himself in a hole, but he didn't get what he wanted, and that was the initial hole shot and check out and lead. It took him a couple moments to get up there as Chris Borge grabbed that early lead, but as we saw there, a lot of position jockeying in the early part of lap number 1, and it puts us to where we are right now. Chris Borge beginning to reel in the runners up front. Walker Fowler with about a 46, almost 47-second lead over McGill. Now it's up to 55 seconds between Walker Fowler and Adam McGill, but Chris Borge is now seeing that 6.2-second gap between the 3rd and 2nd place ride start to shrink up just a little bit. Back there in the number 4 spot, about 30 seconds off pace, is the Cole train of Cole Richardson, 7:33. The Snake himself, Sneaky Snake, or the Cobra, as we like to call him, about 14 seconds back off that in the 5th place position. Then you got Landon Wolf in 6th, Jay Shadron in 7th. Bryson Neal is all the way back in 8th. Josh Merritt 9th. Greg Covert, who is your XC2 Pro-Am class leader right now, is rounding out the top 10 as we take a look at this, nearing the 1 hour mark at just about 55 minutes into this one. Fred, we've got 2 laps down for the majority of our top 10 riders right there. Well, all of them, I would think, at this particular point. And actually, Marty Christopherson has taken over the lead after that 2nd lap over Covert. Covert drops back about 5.6 seconds now, but Christopherson is now in 10th place position. But the way things are starting to shape up here, man, I tell you, this is an hour into this. It's gone by fairly quickly, but I have to venture to say and think that possibly the next 60 or so minutes or might be a little bit longer for these guys out here, because just as we saw there a moment ago, Walker Fowler has found himself in that lap traffic, and that buffer zone that he had of about 45, 50 seconds or so is starting to quite possibly be in jeopardy. You know, speaking of lapped riders, we had a chance to talk with a gentleman that had issues with lap traffic there at that last race, and Adam McGill talks a little bit about that and some of the things that took place there at Penton.
Yeah, it's definitely part of GNCC racing. It's nobody's fault. I mean, the lapper couldn't make the hill. It is what it is. And believe it or not, we actually talked. Me and the rider actually contacted each other and talked a little bit. And he's like, man, I'm so sorry that happened. I said, dude, it's my fault. You was already there. I tried squeezing him beside you. I said, it's no big deal. And I remember him looking at me when he was on the hill, and he said, what do you want to do? I said, we're going to go back down. He goes, that's not the fastest way to the top. And I said, that's the way we're headed. So we turned him around, got him off the hill, and, you know, and went from there. But it is all part of GNCC racing, and I hate saying lappers because everybody's out here racing. Whether you're a lap down or you're on the lead lap, it doesn't matter. Everybody's out here racing. Everybody's having a good time, and you know, I try to give everybody enough room to get off the track or enough time to get out of the way. You know, there is, you know, like us coming up, we are definitely, you know, the elite group of racers, and you know, whether you're running C class or pro class, you still deserve to be out there racing on the same track that we do. And just, you know, give us common courtesy. If we do catch you, you know, we'll give you plenty of room to get over, and we'll go and be about our business, and your race can continue. So it's just all part of GNCC.
And a very good point that he brings up there, Fred Andrews. It is all a part of GNCC. If truth be told, it's maybe not the most favorite part for the guy that's leading, but it could be for the guy in second place.
Sometimes you catch up to a lap rider and the guy gets out of your way, you're good, and then the guy behind you catches him and he holds him up, or vice versa. So it's all the same for everybody. You never know how it's going to work out, but like Adam said, when you're a lap rider and you hear the leader's coming, you kind of just hold your line where you can, and then you move over and the leaders go on by. So that's part of the racing, but that's part of the fun part too, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, me as a racer, if I was behind, I'm thinking, man, I hope the front guy catches the lapper. So, you know, it's all part of racing. You never know how it's going to fall, but it's all the same.
Most definitely, Fred. And like I say, it can be a double-edged sword for you. In the case of Walker Fowler, if he can get through some of these back markers and still be able to gain some, put some distance between himself and the second-place ride, then that'll be good news for him. Otherwise, it could be holding up for him. Walker Fowler, working according to game plan, at least when I talked to him this morning in the BP Fuels Pro Row pre-race report, and he had a lot to say, man. He said, you know, what he wants to do is, and he actually talked a little bit of smack. It was kind of joking, but I think at the same time is, you know, he wanted to get out front fast and early and stretch the lead out to where those guys couldn't even see him and even consider even thinking about chasing him down. And he had a few other little things to say, but basically that was the game plan. Go out, especially in these dry, dusty conditions in these open field sections, was put as much time between himself and second place as possible. And he knows those guys are going to be back there battling for that number 2 spot. And everything that he'd hoped for is what's taking place as Walker Fowler makes his way through here now at the 5-mile marker. That's about halfway through this lap. We're now 59 minutes into this race.
You know, we talk about the lap rider situation. That guy heard Walker Fowler coming. He moved over into the woods somewhere where he could get off. Walker Fowler gave him the thumbs up. Hey, thank you for doing that. Boom, the guy pulls back on.
And the thing about it is, Fred, you know as well as I do, you can tell the difference of somebody coming up behind you, a pro rider, or somebody that's a lot faster than, say, somebody in your class. So, I mean, it's not like, okay, you're going to be realizing, oh, there's a faster guy in my class coming. You know if it's a guy in your class. You can simply feel, you can tell by the sound of the machine. They ride them totally different. They sound so much different coming at you through the woods. So it's pretty obvious when a pro rider, I think, is coming at you.
Yeah, and you know, the nice thing that Walker did right there was give him the thumbs up and say, like, thank you. So next time that ever happens at another race, if that guy hears Walker Fowler coming, he's going to say, hey, I remember that guy. He was nice. I'll let him by. So it's nice to be courteous out there to the guys pulling off for you. And Adam McGill just went by, and he's
lead down to about 45 seconds between first and second, but they were nearly, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's closer to a minute. So, actually, we got, we're getting count.
Yeah, I got 58 seconds there.
That's what I had gotten, like 50, almost 60, but I was watching a different clock. But anyway, so regardless, we're about a minute between first and second. The I think interesting part of this battle that is shaping up more than anything right now is the battle for second, though they were not nose to tail when they came through. Here comes Coltrane Richardson through now at the 5-mile marker. Though they weren't nose to tail, there was only a handful of bike lengths separating the two, and Chris Borch more than had Adam McGill in sight. This could be good news for both of these guys unless they get into a battle that slows each other down. If they can get one of those battles that speeds things up, it could get pretty interesting. And they could close that minute up between Ian Fowler. Again, remember, they got in that lap traffic. Now the lap traffic we go over this week after week knows that they're coming, so they're going to be a little more in tune with what's taking place and what's coming behind them. So maybe they should be able to get back into it. Here's, I think, the battle for the XC2 class. I believe this is actually a third and fourth place battle. Let's check the XC2 class. That's the 45 machine I think we saw going around there. So I thought that we might.
Well, whoever they are, they're definitely getting after it.
Oh yeah, they are.
They're going good out there right now.
Is that Wesley Wolf? No, that's not Wolf behind him. That actually might not even be the guys that we thought it was. But they got a good battle going on, regardless of who they were. I thought we were looking at quite possibly Wesley Wolf battling with Kevin Yoho there for a moment, but that wasn't the case. By the way, Cody Collier, who got off to nearly a dead last start, up to a number 5 position in the XC2 Pro-Am class right now. We want to know, how do you hashtag GNCC Live? We want you to Instagram a photo of how you watch GNCC for a chance to win an event t-shirt courtesy of Moto Tees, your event souvenir supplier, and that features, of course, Jared McClure on it this week, and also a chance to win $250 in AMSOIL product. Just tweet your podium prediction finishes to hashtag GNCC Live, and we will choose a winner randomly. You don't have to be right. You just got to hashtag it GNCC Live on Twitter there for a chance to win. Hashtag your Instagram photos, GNCC Live. We want to know how you're watching things today. We'll possibly take a look at some of that stuff as the day progresses here in the great state of New York. Marty Christopherson, Greg Covert, Kevin Yoho, Wesley Wolf, Cody Collier are your top 5. Now look at the gap. I want to talk a little bit about this while we don't have anything on screen, but when they come through, check out what we got going on. Christopherson, the 13, Covert, the 21, who is, by the way, your points leader, 5.6 seconds separating them. Kevin Yoho, only a second behind that. Wesley Wolf now about 15 seconds back of that. So the top 4 relatively close right now, and it looks like maybe Wesley Wolf is actually losing some time, which is something that we normally do not see. But we may see him, like we always do, oftentimes in the second hour, begin to make some time up out there. So we're waiting out here near the 5-mile marker, and soon should be possibly seeing that battle in the XC2 Pro-Am class, waiting on New York's own, Richford, New York's Marty Christopherson. He is actually the tops as far as the Wanoa Championship Series is concerned. He and Nick Wheeler and a few guys always battling it out up here for the top Wanoa overall ATV championship. And he's making his mark in the national scene now by working his way through the XC2 Pro-Am class. I tell you, they're a little further back physically on the track than what I actually anticipated and expected to see, but that still doesn't take anything away from how intense their battle is out there right now, Fred.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of good battles going on here, right? And like we said, even though it's a little bit dusty, we've got a bunch of different guys all grouped up, and they're all racing together. And we talked about Adam McGill and Chris Borch earlier, and I actually thought those two guys hooking up together would be catching Walker Fowler. I know it looks like they're losing time right now, so I'm not sure. At one point they were catching, but then when they got tangled up and they hit that tree in the tight section, their Walker gained that time on them again. They're starting to lose, or whether those guys can close back up is going to be interesting to see. Or Mark Nauman and crew said, hey, those two guys are hooked up. You got to get going.
Yes, you do. And that's what he's trying to do. And again, that was the game plan from the word go. He wanted to go out and check. He wanted to set a pace that was blistering, one that would make these guys think the next time they lined up there. And another thing that Walker was thinking was he wanted to try and gain this win because he needs every point he can, he figures, before heading into Snowshoe, because he says that is such an unpredictable race and so many things can happen. So Walker's trying to get as much of a cushion as he can at this point, because if memory serves me correctly, that place has bitten he and Chris Borch in the past.
Yeah, I think Snowshoe is a different kind of race. You race the track. You don't race each other because there's so many things out there that can bite you and break your machine, from the rocks, from the mud holes, from the big giant uphills, the big downhills, and that track changes every time you go around there. So that kind of race you just kind of go into and just try to get through it, really, Rodney. You know, it's not one that you want to go as fast as you can go.
Right, yeah. It's
unless you're Brian Wolf.
Yeah,
he do that the 1 year and win.
Yeah, and he does that. He attacks it that way every year, and he either breaks down or he wins. It's one or the other. And often, more times than not, he is broken down. But regardless, no matter how you decide to tackle it. Here we are at the 7-mile marker now. Walker Fowler. Putting a clock on this one now for Fowler to see exactly what kind of a gap. We were looking at 58 seconds there a couple of miles ago. And now we wait patiently with bated breath here to see where Walker is going to be from the standpoint of when these guys are due in. We're about 8 minutes out still.
And it seems like they're getting into more lap riders right now. And talking about them, when you're two guys together nose to tail like that, it's easier to get around the lap riders too also. So once the guy in front of you sneaks around, boom, you can go right behind him.
Well, I tell you right now, you can see, look at the side of the course right there. You see that big furrow of dirt? That's kind of powderish that has been pushed off to the side. It's a little wetter there inside the woods, but I mean, look how exposed the roots are. That is changing the face of this race course. As there comes McGill, and there comes the number 4 of Chris Borch. Now the gap is about 1 minute and 5-6 seconds now, so he has gained another 6 or 8 seconds, it looks like, over the two as they continue to do battle and wage war here through the trees. And I know that they're thinking that they've got a great pace going on right now, but maybe they're thinking too much at this particular point about each other and worried about, well, maybe Adam is, and that's got the the pace slowed down just a little bit. And of course, we had a chance to talk with Walker Fowler about this situation. Walker generally is the type of person that likes to come from behind and hunt. Today he is the hunted, and we had a chance to talk about being a hunter and being hunted.
Yeah, it is definitely an interesting position to be in. I've never actually led a series from the first round, so this is round 8, and I've led since the first race this season. Like you said, I think following Chris and then following Adam all last year, I definitely, you're always like, I got to be better than this one guy, and then now I am that guy, so I have to kind of try to figure out what these guys are doing that, I try to stay a step ahead of them, and I don't know. It's just I think I ride a little bit more defensive this year. I think a little more cautious. I would say when Adam got his 3 races in a row, I think I really would take a little extra time and think about my decisions instead of just I have to go for it. I'd go, well, I could take 3rd today instead of bonsaiing for this line and make a pass, and 3rd place points would be better than no points. So I think I've definitely it's taught me to mature a little bit and how to manage a race with with the points lead, and just become a smarter racer, I think.
Walker's walking a fine line right now, Fred. It's that line of, just like you say, he wants to salvage what he can. He doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks, but at the same time, whenever you go to being a little too reserved, you get what you saw taking place there a moment ago. Those 3 rounds where Adam McGill was actually able to steal those 3 wins away. Man, look at that out there in that field. It is certainly they're flying out through the 8-mile marker there. But I mean, again, like I was saying, it's tough. I mean, Walker's got a fine line to walk there.
Yeah, I think he's in championship mode right now. He's going to take whatever he can get. He's not going to. He knows he doesn't have to win every race, but if you can be top 3 every round and make good points, you're in good shape. I mean, you can't win every race. You just got to do the best you can do that time. I mean, you can't win every one. So Walker Fowler's definitely thinking the right way. Do I need to push it? Should I try to get these extra 2 points and crash and get nothing? Well, no, let's just settle for 3rd. And because he has a little bit of lead,
right?
So he can afford to jockey around a few points.
But he does, and he did, and that was actually starting to dissipate quite a bit. And I think that's where Walker was starting to get a little bit nervous about the fact that maybe his playing it safe was just being a little bit too safe at that particular point. So though he doesn't want to take any unnecessary chances, there are some chances that may be necessary in order to maintain the points lead.
Well, one thing's for sure right now, he's not playing it safe.
No, he's
He's out there. He's got the lead. And like you said, urgency of being in the lead. And there goes Adam McGill by right now on the screen.
And
with Chris Borch
right behind him, yeah.
Walker Fowler wanted the lead from the word go. When Chris got around him, Walker was doing everything he could in the first 2 turns just to get around him, because that was his plan today, and that's how it's working out good for him right now.
Well, Walker's trying to get into their heads. You're starting to see that more and more here, I think, recently than we've ever noticed before with Walker Fowler. And it does become kind of a bit of a chess game. So he's trying to get into their head. He did it during the interviews this morning. And he's doing it on the racetrack too, and more so coupling those together and bringing it all together to fruition. So he says he's going to do it. He goes out and does it. Now these guys have got even more to think about.
Yeah, that's part of that's part of the game. It's fun when you're the guy and everybody wants to hear what you got to say. You kind of try to get in everybody's heads, but these guys have been doing it for a long time. And right now, it looks like the sneaky snake has gotten passed by Landon Wolf.
Yeah.
It looks like Landon Wolf's moved into
5th place.
5th place.
LW. Oh, LW, the number 11, the 1-1. I say he's so special we had to give him 2 1s. But he is, that's one thing that I want to point out about Landon. We have not heard, he's not been a flashy, glitzy type rider, but we have seen steady progression out of this rider over the last couple of years. And here he is now riding top 5s, and we're starting to see him race toward that even more consistently here in recent races. So I think that we're about ready to start seeing a new face into the crowd here pretty soon, and I think it may look just like Landon Wolf.
Yeah, once Landon Wolf gets up there and starts riding with these guys, he gets more confidence thinking, hey, I should be here. Because, when you get up there and you're not used to being with those guys, you're thinking, oh, man, I'm having a good day, I got lucky. But no, he's starting to mature him too also and figure out, hey, I should be up here. I need to be with these guys. And when he's riding with them, he's learning. Every time he's riding with those guys, he's learning what they're doing different than what he does, and that's making him faster and better at what he does.
An hour now and 12, almost 13 minutes into the Dunlop Tires Tomahawk GNCC from Odessa, New York, overlooking the nearby Watkins Glen, New York, which is home to Watkins Glen International Speedway, a NASCAR track. The area is also full of beautiful architecture and state parks. Got a nice big lake down there. Just a very beautiful place here in the Odessa, New York area and Watkins Glen area, Fred. Some beautiful scenery, some that rivals some of the most beautiful stops, including Snowshoe on the tour, which we'll be heading to next. Each one's got something unique and particular about its own place, but this one is a pretty place as well.
Ryan, I did notice that we're at the 9-mile marker here in the screen, and Bryson Neal did make it that far. So far their match slot, Barry Hawk's gas mileage is working out. Yep. He's only got 2 more miles to go.
We'll see. We'll see there at the near, the 11-mile marker. I think Jared Bolton said he turned 10.9 miles on his odometer, and as he pulled away from the finish line, it clicked to 11. So it's, within feet of being an actual 11-mile race course out there. And we're turning lap times in the neighborhood about 26 and a half to 27 minutes. That's a pretty good clip when you start doing the math on that one.
Yeah, that's typical. That's really a good fit for our...
It's about 3 minutes a mile or so, a little under 3 minutes a mile, I think, which translates into about 30 miles an hour average, which you look at that right there, that's a pretty quick average whenever you got to drive through trees that fast, huh?
Sure is. Here comes Walker Fowler right now, coming up towards the finish line, getting around one of the lap riders, high-low on him, crossing underneath him right now, and you can see Walker Fowler, he's not playing games today. He's out there for a reason and putting that Ampro Yamaha out front, the 2-lap board.
I tell you what, man, the confidence is certainly back. He had that 3-race dry spell where Adam McGill took 3 consecutive wins, but that win there in Ohio has re-boosted the confidence and recharged the fight in this championship. I think he's trying to make that statement. He's trying to put an explanation point on to last year's championship title. the mindset coming into this race so much different. As he said, maybe playing a little overly cautious the last few rounds. He's thrown caution to the wind here today. He wants as much of a buffer zone as he can gain heading into that ninth round before the big summer break and that atrocious, that sometimes unforgiving Snowshoe GNCC.
Well, Rodney, we're sitting here still waiting for Adam McGill to show up. So to me, it's looking like Walker Fowler's putting some more time on these guys. I mean, I still don't see Adam McGill, and I'm sure it's well over a minute right now. So I don't know if maybe something happened to Adam McGill or not. But these guys have lost a lot of time. Here comes Adam McGill right now, coming towards the finish line. So going through timing and scoring here, we'll be able to get exact time that he's behind. But I'm guessing it's well over a minute because Walker Fowler's coming through the pit area already.
Wow.
And there's this pit crew right now giving him the board, telling him, man, keep on doing what you're doing. We got this covered. And here comes Chris Borich making his way after the finish line. So we'll be able to see right now in live time and the scoring here where they're all at. If I only knew how to work this computer.
Did you figure it out, Fred?
No, sir.
Let's just hit enter. That updates right there. We have 3 riders in. 1 minute and 14 seconds is what we're looking at the gap between first and second. 4.078 seconds between second and third. Lap time 27:19, 27:17, respectively for McGill and Borich. Walker Fowler at 26:52. So there's the tell of the tape right there. The lap time is certainly telling what's going on right here, right now, my friend, as we look at a 42.5 second further gap with a 27.5 minute lap time. There is Edinburgh, PA's Cole Richardson in fourth. And looking for the sneaky snake, Jared McClure. He's at about 18 seconds back now in the number 5 position. Looks like he got back around Landon Wolf, LW, back in the number 6 spot. So they're going back and forth out there. We saw that Landon was actually ahead of him out there, I believe, around the 5-mile marker, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was. So it looks like Landon Wolf and Jared McClure have a good battle going on. It looks like Walker Fowler, he's turned that 26:52 lap time. He's definitely still on the gas, and even though Adam McGill and Chris Borich are together, they're not gaining time. Their lap times are even slower, I was surprised. I thought those two would hook up right now and be catching up. And there's Bryson Neal right now. He went through the finish line. He's on his way to Pro Row, so he'll be getting fuel for sure this time.
No doubt about it. Rodney Tomlin here along with Fred Andrews sitting by here in the booth. Also Megawatt Matt Watson out and about. We'll be hearing from him and certainly seeing him on the podium coming up here shortly. And the way it's looking, he's going to be interviewing Walker Fowler. But again, folks, that could change. What are your predictions? Don't forget to tweet your AMSOIL predictions to hashtag GNCC Live for a chance to win $250 in AMSOIL product. Again, winner chosen randomly. You don't even have to be right. But give us an idea of who you're pulling for out there and let us know. Hashtag GNCC Live there on Twitter. And, again, we want to see those pics of how you're watching.
And there's a Coastal team waiting for Bryson Neal. Is he going to round the corner? And here he comes. So hats off to the Coastal guys. They had their gas mileage down really good today.
I'd be curious to see how little or how much gas is actually still left in that. That wasn't a long draining stop on that IMS tank. You look there. It didn't look like it took a whole lot. Well, it normally doesn't, but it didn't look like a lot of extra went in.
No, Roddy, the IMS cans are really super quick. It takes about 8 seconds to put about 3 gallons in there, and it looks like, wow, he was in and out awful quick. I watched the gas go down, so they got her full, so IMS has got a good system going on, and Coastal's in and out, and Bryson Neal's going back after him.
Well, it's Walker Fowler, Adam McGill, Chris Borich, Cole Richardson, Jared McClure, your top 5 as we approach an hour and 20 minutes into this one. And our GNCC Live Fast Facts at the 2000 census. This is good and interesting for about this area. It also helps you learn a little bit. What was the population of Odessa, New York? Do you think that there were over 2,200? Do you think there's only 6, maybe a 12, or just under 1,000? How big is Odessa? Do we come to big cities? Do we come to small areas? We'll find out when we return on GNCC Live.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires.
CST Tires.
You smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Yeah, why I take that full-size motorcycle. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. You can't explain it. Everything I learned applies to now. Seeing your motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour, oh, definitely rewarding. My name's Mike. My school's Wyotech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Turn pro at Wyotech.
I've been with Liat for a lot of years.
And we're back here at Odessa, New York, just overlooking the Watkins Glen International Speedway here at Seneca Highlands for this scenic round number 8 of America's Premier Off-Road Racing Championship, the AMSOIL GNCC Series, where we pick things up here on lap number 3, an hour and 22 minutes into the race. When we just witnessed during this commercial break, if you were watching the pass for second place, actually Adam McGill waves Chris Borich around, and I'm not sure what's going on there. And as Fred Andrews poses the question, does that mean that Adam McGill is having problems? And Fred, you know, I don't know. That's a pretty good question. It's either that or he's thinking maybe I can key off of Chris at this point and we can start to catch Walker Fowler and close this minute and 15-second gap back up.
Exactly, Rodney. Either Adam McGill's feeling that he can't pull him forward and Chris is putting too much pressure on him, or he's having bike trouble. He's going to, hopefully it's the Chris Borich is going a little faster. I'll let you around, Chris, and I'll let you pull me forward. I tried. I couldn't do it. Let's see if you can.
Right, and maybe we can get down to the McGill
As
pits.
a team, we can get Walker Fowler.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe we can get down to the pits with the Megawatt to find out what's going on. Now, let's we're going to watch this in replay and see exactly what took place. There is the number 5 of Bryson Neal checking in. That is your 5th place. No, 8th place ride, believe it or not. But here comes the pass. They come into this big open field section. You can see that there's only a few bike links, and all of a sudden, Adam McGill just starts motioning to Chris Borich to go around, and he grabs a fistful of throttle and then starts clicking gears there. Oh, no, he's having gear problems. He was having troubles actually maybe slowing down. That was the brake. He's kicking that brake pedal really, really hard right now, like he might be having some sort of a problem. I don't know. But he took the point, and now he is in second place, and we'll see whether or not he's going to be able to do something about it. Wonder what would cause him. Would a rock be in that thing that maybe he might want to be trying to kick that thing around like?
Yeah, it could have been a rock or a stick or something up in his brake pedal. But the interesting thing I thought was Adam McGill was freaking flying right there. He wouldn't look like he was having any kind of bike troubles whatsoever. But he came around that turn like you said, Rodney. He said, "Go on, Mr. Borich, let's see if you can get it done, and I'll follow you around." And that's exactly what he was doing. And when Chris Borich was standing up and he was kicking on had to be the brake pedal there, and even after he rounded that turn, he was still kicking it going to the next turn.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what was going on there. If you look out and about now, you see still a slight bit of dust out there in the air right now as Jay Shadron is checking in with us. That's your 7th place ride right now. Just ahead of him was Landon Wolf, the number 11. I don't think I've seen LW go by there. We'll check and see here in a moment. But
Jay Shadron, he's riding around with his headlights on. He's got some kind of reflective sticker on the front of his bike. Looks like he's got headlights on. Every time I see him, I'm like, who's that guy coming through the dust with his lights on?
Jay very well could be riding with his headlights on. You never know. He likes to do things a little out of the ordinary, try to get noticed. He's got a pretty flashy quad down there with his Pro Graphic sponsors, no doubt about that. And right now, Fowler, McGill, Borich, Cole Richardson, another 42 seconds behind Borich. That's Jared McClure in the number 5 spot aboard the number 3. We went to break asking how many
do you think? Well, 617. Odessa, New York, not necessarily one of the biggest places, but you got to realize a lot of little areas in the New York area, but we overlook some of the most historic racing property known to mankind through Watkins Glen International Speedway, but only 617 in the actual town of Odessa, a small, quiet, quaint little town in upstate New York and western New York here. And I got to tell you, folks, if you've never been to New York, it's nothing like what you imagine. You always think
New York City.
It's not New York City. It is some of the most beautiful countryside that you're ever going to lay eyes on, and some of the nicest people you're ever going to meet as well. Now, you get closer to the city, it's a little different, but out in the countrysides, man, I tell you, this is God's country, there's no doubt. Hey, want to take a look at that top 5 you just saw coming through there: Fowler, McGill, Borich, Richardson, McClure. You see, as we also want to remind you folks, the ISDE fundraisers are going on. We've got the ISDE fundraising golf tournament coming up at Snowshoe in a couple of weeks. That'll be on that Friday. The cost is $100 per person. You get a meal at the end of the golf round, and a few other great things. All proceeds going to benefit the USA ISDE teams and events at KTM USA. For more details and information, you can also log on to GNCC Racing. Also, another fundraiser going on here trackside today, Fred Andrews. It's going on at the KR4 booth on Bender Row and on Pro Row, where Thad Duvall is located. It's the official ISDE Going for the Gold Bracelet Collections. 3 prize drawings will be drawn at Unadilla GNCC in September. What we're doing right now is we're selling tickets. 3 tickets for $10 or an arm length for $50. Proceeds for ticket sales will go to the ISDE General Fund. ISDE Team Manager Auntie Cullinan. Still taking donations, so the prize vault is going. $500 worth of service from KR4, see the flyer. East Fork MX package for 2 days, including 2 days entry and riding technical critiquing by Scott Plessinger. And also Kinder Tire certificate for $150. They got Cernix Racing stuff for $300 worth of stuff. Squatch lanyards, $100. Full gas, all kinds of stuff. Check it out. Lone Wolf Video Sessions, $200. There's Chris Borich back behind Adam McGill.
Adam McGill's actually put some time on him, Rodney, so I'm not sure what Adam McGill was doing right there. But
well, it goes back to what we saw him kicking that brake pedal, or what we assume was the brake pedal. I think that Megawatt is headed down to the Fowler pit, or excuse me, not the Fowler, but the Borich pits and McGill pits to try to find out what was going on possibly for both of those teams. But I got to venture to say why Chris Borich is back in the number 3 spot is, for whatever reason, he was kicking that machine on the right side there just after he passed and just before he passed Adam McGill there just a few moments ago.
Yep, and it looks like Cole Richardson and
Jared McClure
have hooked up right now.
Yeah, so looks like Richardson actually under pressure. McClure is really getting into it. That's one thing to point out. McClure, later in the season, we start to see things progress for him, and late in the races, we're starting to see some things progress for him. Here is that Z Barry Hawk? That is Barry Hawk, the Coastal Racing man, as he's got himself a pit board. He almost looks like he's about ready to knock somebody off their quad. Now, we'll see. Now, we'll get to see right here. Does Barry Hawk play dirty, or does he play fair right here? Is he going to throw a stick in somebody's? I'm just playing. He's not going to stick in nobody's wheel. What he's going to do is going to give that rider right there, the number 5, Bryson Neal, pit board, to let him know what he needs to be doing right now. And I've got to think that he's telling him he needs to really pick it up, because he needs to pick up the pace and get to Adam McGill and the rest of those boys up there. Big gap to make up. And speaking of big gaps, Adam McGill found himself with a big gap there at the end of the last race in Ohio, if you remember correct, Fred. Remember, Adam was pushing for the lead there on the final lap, and then all of a sudden he disappeared. We thought that he was done for the day and that he was outside the top 20, but miraculously he was able to get that machine back up and going, scored a top 5, and stayed still alive in his hunt for the and bid for the championship in 2016. And we did have a chance to talk with him about that particular incident leading into this weekend.
It was good. We had a good start. Had to stay at the front all day. Ended up tagging a tree on the first lap. Nothing major. I just really couldn't find the mojo. And then after we got through the first lap, I finally started feeling the flow, put on a good charge. By the end of the race, ended up running Walker down to about 5 seconds. We come to a hill climb around the 7-8 mile marker. And he went out around it. And I tried going up it and then actually ended up getting stuck with a lapper on top of the hill. And we come back off the hill and went to start the bike, nothing, it was dead. Ended up blowing a fuse, so we pulled the battery cover off and crossed over the solenoid. A spectator gave me a pocket knife, crossed the solenoid over, and by then it was already too late. Fell back to floor. Had a couple lines picked out, but where I took my goggles off because I was getting hot, I really couldn't push in the dust that we had in the fields there towards the end. But we had a good day and all in all, and what the biggest disheartening thing was that we had was that there was guys standing there with tools, one in particular that wouldn't lend a hand at all. So, we all have a code of conduct that we follow. It's like guy code. And with that being said, we don't put anybody's life in danger. And we need everybody out there racing in the end when it really comes down to it, because there's not a whole lot of us that do it, and there's not a whole lot of us that do it and get paid. With that being said, I truly think that was the biggest hardship of the race, was to know that people out there will not help you because they want to see you fail. So we're back here at New York this weekend. We're ready to kick some rectum and make it happen.
One of the most creative.
Only Adam McGill.
Yeah, only Adam McGill. He is very creative. Very political as well with what he was saying with the incident out in the wood. I talked to him shortly after that.
No names mentioned.
No names mentioned, but I will tell you this, a lot of respect lost for some folks out there amongst those guys, and a lot of bad blood, I believe, was created on that day just by one individual standing there with his arms crossed watching somebody struggle like that. So, and you got to take both sides in this one. I mean, you look at it from Adam McGill's standpoint of, lend a hand, that's what this is all about. But you look at it from the other guy's standpoint, he's got a rider out there that he's trying to advance further forward as well. So you got to take every advantage you can, man. That's what GNCC racing is all about. So, I kind of see Adam's point, but at the same time, I see that other individual's point as well. But regardless,
and also, I think if it would have been something going on, the bike had been wide open, he'd been stuck underneath it, or
right.
There's no danger there. It's just you're stuck.
No injury going on. No life-threatening situation. So
so you're kind of on your own because you weren't your guy to beat him.
Right, and I don't know how I would react in that situation, being a team manager or anything in that situation, or a team member in that situation, to be honest with you. But regardless, Adam put it behind him. He's got his head down. He's charging here today, and Matt Watson is standing by. I think he's got a report on that little exchange between Adam McGill and Chris Borch we saw a few moments ago.
Actually, Rodney, what we've got a little info from the Borch pits, and we saw him stepping on that brake pedal. He has no rear brakes whatsoever. So he just drove by the pits, shook his head over at his dad and the rest of the crew. No need to stop right now. We were going to use more time stopping than it was going to be worth. So Chris Borch running the rest of this race without a rear brake.
Wow, that's going to be a tough one. And that's unfortunate for him because again, here's another opportunity, a day that he could have gained some major strides as far as confidence is concerned, and he's not going to be able to do so because of, and I'm not going to say subpar equipment, but because of mechanical failures or issues anyway.
Let me add this, Rodney. We did have some issues with brakes with our 4x4 Pro class this morning, as well as some of our schoolboy classes, the heat, the dust, boiling some brake fluid and that type of thing, and next thing you know, the brakes are gone.
Yeah. Well, I think it's got to do with the dusty conditions because you really can't see, so you're on the gas, but you're on the brake because you're not sure what's coming up, and I think people are maybe riding it more than what they're used to.
Fred, you know as well as I do, whether it's the brake or the clutch, the slightest little bit of pressure on it is going to cause wear, is going to cause gaps and that kind of thing in it, and the next thing you know, the system's gone.
Yeah, you don't even know that you're doing it and it's happening. And as you can see from the screen right now, the 9-mile marker, Walker Fowler has already come by. Right now we're waiting for Adam McGill to be coming by to see how far back he is from Walker Fowler. And also, with Chris Borch having the problem like he's having, that opens the door for the train and the snake, Jared McClure. So those two have hooked up, and those two are pushing each other. Will they be able to catch Chris Borch?
I don't know. That's
without a rear brake, I would think they would have to because there's a lot of fast stuff out here, and without Chris Borch being able to...
Wow.
I mean, yes, you can use a front brake, but still, you use too much front, you're in big trouble.
You're going to wear them out too.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
and you can't stop like you need to. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I'm sure Cole Richardson's pit crew, Jared McClue's pit crew right now, they're saying, hey, there's trouble ahead. keep on going.
Keep on going, push hard, and put pressure on. Matt?
You know, just one thing to add to that, Rodney, we listened to Fred talk about that. You know, the front brake slows you down, but the rear brake is like a rudder. It keeps you straight. So just using that
Well,
front
look,
brake
right
to slow the brake down is one thing, but not keeping it straight.
Chris Boris just went by, and he is still right out on McGill's
Well,
tail.
that was
brakes or no brakes.
Yeah.
I just said he's throwing out the window.
We just saw Suzuki go by. We thought, at first initial thought, it looked like that he had gotten back around Adam McGill. It happened to be a lapped rider. And the thing is, I think we were shocked by that, and then we're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Then we were still shocked again because Chris Borch is not far off the pace with no rear brakes. But look how hard the number 3 of McClure is charging right now, and the 733 of Cole Richardson. These boys are hungry, whether or not they're laying chase to Chris Borch right now for 3rd place, or they're just battling each other. Regardless, we got something brewing right now, Fred.
Yeah, right now, the way those two are going, Adam McGill's not safe either. Those two guys could come up there and shake everything up. Is Adam McGill getting tired? Or, I mean, is he slowing down? And those two guys, young guys, are just coming? I mean, I don't know. But right now, Barry Hawk's waiting for his guy, and it looks like Bryson Neal's really not catching up like I thought he would. Even though he's with some lap riders right now, that guy got out of his way just like we like to see. So Bryson Neal's going forward, but I'm not sure he's got enough speed to catch those guys today.
Wow, you got to wonder what's going on with Neal. I don't want to take anything away from him and say, hey, you know, he's not doing so well. But you look at the grand scheme of things, the big picture. Out of the first 7 rounds, he finished on the podium 6 of 7 rounds. His goal was to finish on the podium again here today. And right now, looking back in 8th place, it looks like this might be non-podium number 2 for Bryson Neal.
Right here's Adam McGill. He just crossed the road, went through one of the checkpoints. We're at looks like about the 8-mile marker, and he's caught some lap riders. And I wouldn't say Adam McGill's tired. He's doing some wheelies. Looks like he's going good. I just think maybe Cole Richardson and Jared McClure are just a little bit faster lap times or something.
Didn't look to be any special preparations being taken in the McGill pits down there. Didn't look to be any sense of urgency whatsoever. Didn't see any spare parts and tools being gathered. So I think it's just how the race is playing out right now for Adam.
Yeah, you know, and I look at the lap times right now, it doesn't seem that Jared McClure or Cole Richardson's lap times are faster than Adam McGill's or Chris Borch. But, you know, that lap right there, they could have caught some lap riders in the slow section.
Did you notice? I mean, we did see a lot of that, especially in those tight wood sections. We've seen a lot of these guys checking up because of the lap riders ahead of them, the traffic that they were coming up on. So I think as much as anything, that's an indication of what's going on there. And then again, we go back to when Adam let Chris go by him, and then Chris had his problems with the brake. Maybe they are both actually suffering just a little bit, which is keeping them from the original pace they were running, and maybe even from a faster pace that they're capable of running at this point.
Yeah, you know, you never know what's going on right now. We're going to find out here probably on the podium to see what's happening.
That'd be an interesting podium. It'd be real interesting.
Anytime Adam McGill's on the podium, it's interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. I wonder if the trash talk, the track smack that we were seeing by Walker Fowler earlier this morning, I wonder if he's going to continue that on the podium today, maybe kind of rub it in a little bit, because, I mean, think about it. You got the toughest race of the year coming up right now. This would be a good time to really shake those guys up and get them upset, I think, heading into that race. And then if you can take care of business there at Snowshoe, you've got all summer to think about it. Let them think about it anyway.
And here comes our Adam McGill in second place, and Chris Borch right there. I mean, with no brakes, Chris Borch must be letting those bumpers work for him or something, because he's still hauling around the track.
He's putting those wheels down, and you know, right here is a perfect and prime example of him to figure out whether or not he's got confidence in that machine and how well it corners and all the suspension and everything, because he's having to utilize all the other benefits of that machine without the brakes. I mean, that's where good suspension comes into play. That's, you know, all the right components, the right setups and everything come into play whenever you have to go against the adversities of having no brakes. If you've got it set up right and you can corner right, you might be able to rise above it, and that might be what Chris Borch is finding that he's capable of doing right now.
And you see, just a minute ago, Jared McClure went by and Cole Richardson was still behind him, so that position right there, those guys are still 4th and 5th place. It didn't look like they were catching Chris Borch like we thought earlier. And without the rear brake paw, it may be hard for them to catch him, because Chris Borch and Adam McGill are definitely hooked up and moving forward. Whether they can catch Walker Fowler, probably not, because Walker Fowler seems to be in his own league today. But like I said earlier, you can't win every race, so you got to get the maximum points that you can get at each event, because every race counts being a champion.
It most certainly does. And as we check the scenario here at mile marker number 9, coming up on the last lap here in just a few moments, I think we'll be seeing a white flag come out. If I'm not mistaken, we should be at the finish line about any time. 40 seconds is what we're scheduled to be in for. 26:52. So Walker, believe it or not, every lap has been under the 27-minute mark so far. It's been in the 26:50s or whatever, but he's been under the 27-minute mark. I got to wonder if that's going to be the case this time. Every time we've laid eyes on Walker, he's had to either pass a lapper or he's been right behind a lapper trying to get around him. I have to think that maybe Walker's 26:52 lap times are not going to be seen. I think we're going to be in that more 27:20, 27:15, maybe even 27.5, depending on just how thick that lap traffic is. And it looks visually, at least what we're seeing on these camera shots, that it's pretty thick, at least at this point in the race for Walker Fowler.
You know, I think if Walker Fowler comes through this time, he's going to maybe slow down just a little bit because it's the last lap. But he's got such a good pace going. He's got such a good rhythm going. I don't expect him to slow down very much, because once you start to slow down, things happen and it all goes wrong for you. So Walker Fowler might back off a little bit, but he's not going to take it easy this last lap.
Nope, he's not. If anything, he's going to wick it up even more. The last thing he's going to do at this particular point is take his time. I say that, but again, remember, maybe he's got a little bit of that reservation in his mind. But I have to think the way he's ridden today's race, I think all the reservations that he's had in the past of trying to salvage and make sure he doesn't make that ultimate mistake that takes him out of it right now, that's all out the window. He's got the hammer down. He's running Walker Fowler style, and that's Fowler's on fire, my friends.
Yeah, last lap, like we said, he was going to be a little more cautious. He's not going to maybe take the chances he's been taking, but look at him coming right through right here. He's full gas. Still riding it like it's the first lap, riding it like he stole that Yamaha.
Yeah. Yes, maybe he did. I don't know.
One thing we haven't seen today, guys, we've seen Adam give us an indication of maybe some kind of problem. We've seen Chris Borsch stomping on that brake pedal. We saw Bryson Neal on the very first lap talking to a teammate. What we haven't seen is Walker Fowler show any indication of any kind of problem today. And obviously with the gap he's got, with the lead he's got, that seems to be the situation. 49
seconds slower on that lap was Walker Fowler. That's right, 49 seconds slower. He had a 26:52 last time around. He had a 27:41 lap time that time around.
Wow.
Man. Yeah, that's a big difference. I told you.
Something huge happened right there.
No doubt. Well, it's the lap traffic like we were talking about, but with that, Walker Fowler, I think he knows, we were talking about it, he knows how to work things, and he knows where he's at, and he knows how to kind of work the championship. And speaking of working the championship, we did have a chance to talk to him about him and his bid for championship number 2.
When I'm 19 points up, I think it's better for me. Obviously, it's a little less stressful. But when it was getting tight again there at 7 points, it definitely makes you, I think, dig down and find a little bit extra. What am I doing, and where can I be better? Even though I already think I'm the best I've ever been. So I think it really pushes the rider to the limit, and that creates a good a good show for the fans, because we're literally giving it everything we have. So 19 points is way more comfortable for me, and that's where I'd prefer to be.
That you can tell that chuckle there, the 19 points. He loved saying 19 points because he was watching that shave away. It was like 17 points, then it was or 16 points, then 11 points, and then 7 points. And there is Chris Borge checking in with us now. That will be
second place, I believe.
Yes, for the number 2 spot.
Right
wow, him. 1 minute and 55 seconds behind. He's 3 seconds ahead of Adam McGill. 28:18 lap time, 28:25 for McGill, 27:41 lap time for Walker Fowler that time around. So, man, with no brakes and Fowler having his problems, that must make you think that maybe Adam does have an issue. What was it you said was going on down there again?
I didn't see anything in the pits. I didn't see any special tools. I didn't see any parts being brought up to the trackside. Didn't see any sense of urgency whatsoever. But what that does tell me, these guys, whatever the situation is, brakes for Borsch and what it is for Miguel, not really mattering right now. These guys locked in the hottest battle on the track.
Yes, they are, and they will continue to do so with another hot battle
Amsoil coming up behind him. Jared McClure, the Sneaky Snake, 22.5 seconds back of McGill. Now let's look at their lap times, 27:43. Wow. 27:43. That is on a lap time pace that time of what Walker Fowler placed. Again, doesn't have the lap traffic, but there's the lap traffic we were talking about. You see Ford's trying to get through it right now. It's tough. That explains the near 1 minute of time lost on that last time around, I think, for Walker Fowler.
Yeah, like you said, it's lap traffic is the same for everybody, so it's affecting them all the same. So each one of them has to deal with it. And the interesting thing is, I noticed Walker Fowler's pick crew were standing there with a gas cannon. He didn't stop, and I noticed some of the other guys that are standing there too, so they must think maybe these air filters are starting to get clogged, and the bikes are starting to use a little bit more fuel, so they may have to worry. They might have been closer the first time they stopped than they thought they wanted to be, and with the air filters getting clogged, they could use that little extra gas.
Yeah, that's, days like today, if they didn't go down and see our good friends down there, Mark and the boys at Twin Air, they might be kicking themselves in the tail right now, because Twin Air has the products to help combat not only muddy, rainy, wet conditions, but also dry, dusty conditions with skins and different things that you can pull off and make things run a lot make it breathe a lot better throughout the course of the race.
Regardless, so Rodney, that decision was made. These guys passed the pit stop. They're going out on that last lap. They're going to take their chances, and they're going to save that time.
Yeah, like we talked about Twin Air, they make an outer cover that just for the dust, just for this reason. I'm sure a lot of these top guys probably have that on there, and they're going to be thankful for that after the race, because once that dust gets through that filter and into your motor, you're done.
No doubt about it. Hey, which XC1 ATV racer had the most overall race wins in 2015? Was it Chris Bithell, Walker Fowler, Jared McClure, or Adam McGill? Stick around. We'll find out when GNCC continues after this.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
The Andersons discovered life is easier with an Outlaw RV. The Outlaw is a complete home on wheels with a multifunctional garage. Getting on the road has never been quicker. The Outlaw is made to fit the lifestyle of today's active families. So stop roughing it and start enjoying your weekends. Find the Thor Motor Coach Outlaw that fits your needs at GarageRVs.com today.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
Welcome back to the Dunlop Tomahawk GNCC. Round 8 of the AMSOIL GNCC series presented by Maxxis. And we were watching this open field section where we have seen Walker Fowler make his way through, do a little bit of showboating, if you will, actually playing to the fans as he's got well over almost 2 minutes lead. I guess he can afford to be a little bit cocky and showboaty right now, and hey, he deserves that opportunity as well, Fred. He's worked hard to get to where he is right now. We were joking about it. You made the statement, it's hard for somebody like Walker Fowler to be cocky, but I tell you, he has every right in the world to be so.
Oh, yeah, Ryan. He's out there doing a little bit of wheelies. He's doing what he loves right now. He's riding his ATV. He's winning races. He's got a big lead. He is having the time of his life right now, and he's just having fun and keeping himself going.
No doubt about it is Fowler, Borch. Actually, yeah, Fowler, Borch, McGill, McClure, and Neal, your top 5 now as Cole Richardson drops to 6. I didn't catch that.
I think Cole Richardson is actually back in 5th place because there's Bryson.
Yeah.
I think Cole Richardson already
got
went by.
back around him, so... yeah, he has gotten around him. Okay, that was at the end. No, that was in the lap 4 there. So they're flopping back and forth there, believe it or not. Hey, we seen there just a moment ago, Fred, the highlights from last year's golf tournament at Snowshoe GNCC. Just want to remind everyone that, again, coming up Friday, June 24th, the Snowshoe Mountain Resort's Raven Golf Club will be hosting the USA ISDE fundraiser. The 6 days, International 6-Day Enduro in Navarre, Spain. We're going to start the golf tournament off, the fundraising golf tournament off with a shotgun start at 9 on Friday morning, run to about 3:30. And they'll play 18 holes of championship caliber golf, ranked the number 2 public golf course in the state of West Virginia. Cost is $100 per person. You can do teams of 4. You can come individually, however you want to do it. You also get a meal at the end of the round of golf, and all proceeds go directly to the USA ISDE team efforts. So help them out. If you need more information, events at ktmusa.com. You can email them, and or you can log on to gnccracing.com. And which XC1 ATV racer had the most overall race wins in 2015? Well, this little guy right here. What's your name, man?
Dalton Davis.
Dalton Davis said Walker Fowler, and I said, how many did he have? And his little sister said, how many?
A lot.
That's right. And what's your name?
Interesting.
Hey, nice to meet you. 7 wins, as a matter of fact, and that is a lot. If you look at that, we see Adam McGill had 3 wins, which he's matched that so far. Jerry McClure had 2. Chris Bithell had 1. But to round out the 13 rounds, it was Walker Fowler with 7 wins in 2015. Interesting.
Yep. And get back to the GNC golf thing at Snowshoe Rod. I don't know if anybody's ever been there and that, but the course is second to none. There's deer, there's bear, there's wild animals walking around while you're playing. I mean, it is a good time, and it's definitely for a good cause for all our great riders. Yep.
You say bear?
Bear.
You know, actually, there are a few bear that you see around there. I've been there in the meantime, in the leading up to the event. There are a lot of bear around there that we don't get a chance to see during the races. They all hightail it out there. But remember a few years ago, we actually had a deer on the course. Josh Strang hit one.
Yep. There's definitely a lot of deer there. And there goes Walker Fowler.
Waving at the camera. Waving at the fans at home. He's got enough time to think about the fans at home on RacerTV.com as he saluted them rounding that turn right there. Man, Walker Fowler is on an all-new level right now. Talk about the new era. It's a new era of Walker Fowler going on out there right now, I think.
Yeah, right now, Walker Fowler's winning this race. It looks like he's going to win, but he's really in those guys' heads right now, I think. He's doing what he wants. He's out there having fun. These guys behind him are racing, banging each other, running into each other, and Walker's out front doing wheelies, doing fist bumps.
I got to say, it's taken a while. But I got to say, for everybody else in the XC1 Pro class. And I'm not doing this to stroke Walker in any way, shape, or form, but you know the history of it as well as I do. Once Walker grasps control of the situation like this in the class, he becomes virtually unstoppable.
Yeah.
2-minute plus lead now is what he's looking at. He is showboating around the racetrack, and we saw these kind of things with... we saw it leading into the XC2 Pro-Am class. We saw it happen in the Pro-Am class, and we're seeing it now. Maybe the birth of that right now before our very eyes in the XC1 Pro class. We also had a chance, yes, lots and lots of confidence. We had a chance to catch up again with Walker Fowler. He had a lot to say this weekend.
It seems like every time we build a new bike, I go out and win the first race on it. Both of the new bikes, I raced a brand new machine in Florida and then also one in Georgia, and I won both of those races as well. And every year we show up to Unadilla with a brand new machine, and I've won that race the last 2 years now. So it's kind of ironic, I think, more than anything, that when we build a new bike, we win on it. But I think it definitely has the ability to go. I'm riding the same machine for this race and snowshoe, so I'm hoping this bike can go 3 in a row.
He says third race is where he usually has most of his problems. There goes Chris Borge through your second place ride at the 5-mile marker. There is Adam McGill. Now, Adam still at somewhat of a speed and pace there, but he's not pressing. He's not pushing at this point. It looks like, honestly, he's in a salvage mode. I don't know whether he's got something, a physical. It could be physical. You never know. There might be something going on there. He could have hit a tree.
Jerry McClure looks like he's putting a push on.
Ooh, yeah, that gap was 22.5 seconds. That looks like that's more closer to a 15-second gap now between that fourth and third place position. So Adam can't afford to relax a whole lot out there, I do not believe. But, again, back to this Walker thing, I was saying, once Walker finds his stride in the class, he's literally untouchable. I don't know if that's what we're witnessing here, but if you can see in the confidence that he come into this weekend with after that win in Ohio, the lightheartedness, the big smile on his face, there's Bryson Neal around the 733 of Richardson, still out in front of him.
And down, if you notice, Rodney, did you notice that Bryson Neal had that drink in his mouth?
I got a quite there. Yeah, Bryson. Okay, he was in the number 5 spot. Okay.
Barry Hawk must be up around that corner somewhere. Must have given him a drink, because I noticed Bryson Neal had a little water bottle with a hose in it, so he got it from somebody.
He most certainly did. We were watching that XC2 Pro-Am class a little bit ago at the first part of the race because things were so tight after that first lap of racing. Just to let you know how things are going on there, they have spread out quite a bit. Marty Christopherson, New York's own, now 37.5 seconds ahead of points leader in the class, Greg Covert, the 21 machine. Cody Collier, who was nearly last off the start, 30-some seconds back, 34 seconds back in third. Wesley Wolf, 26 seconds back in the number 4 spot. Kevin Yoho, 44 seconds back in fifth. So that goes to show you lap times about 29.5 minutes on average between these guys, except Cody Collier, 29.05. There's one of our that's the 741 of Wesley Wolf. He is actually your 4th place ride that we're catching up with out here at the 3-mile marker in the field right now. And at last check, he had a 44-second lead over Kevin Yoho and was about 44 seconds behind, 26 seconds behind Cody Collier. Sorry, I'll get that right. They keep running together, but he was pretty much in a no man's zone, so to speak, out there. He didn't have anybody to push him. He didn't have anybody to key on to give him that incentive. But we know that Wesley has a lot of incentive later in the race. But man, just seeing them right there, I didn't see him riding with the aggression that we're used to seeing Wesley Wolf ride in at this juncture in the race.
Yeah, a lot of things could have happened. Rodney just could not be his day. Could have got some dust. Could have hit some trees. I mean, that's part of what we do. Everybody. It's hard to be on top all the time like that. You try to be there all the time, and
it's got to be tough whenever you do have these days, because not only do you have your own personal, I guess, ghosts or whatever that are demons that are haunting you there, then you've got everybody else saying, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, and that just kind of complicates it even more and compounds it, I guess I should say.
Oh yeah, when you're up on top like that, everybody expects you to be there, and then when you don't, everybody's thinking something's wrong, and then you're thinking, no, nothing is, then you got going, well, maybe there is something wrong. Maybe.
Yeah, same thing for Bryson Neal. Bryson Neal's going to have a lot to think about after not finishing off the podium. But again, we're not done there. Hey, folks, don't forget, we want to know how your Instagram or how you're watching. All you got to do is send an Instagram photo of what you're doing right now. Hashtag it GNCC Live, and you could win a Jared McClure event T-shirt from the Tomahawk GNCC, courtesy of Moto Tees. Right now, watching, and it looks like things are kind of slowing down here in the latter part of the race. We are approaching the 2-hour mark. Here's an interesting point to ponder as well, Fred. We will now cross over the 2-hour mark, and I believe, if I'm calculating this right, these guys are due in about 10 minutes, and that should probably put us at about a 2 hour and 10-minute or so race, which is really one of the longer races we've seen in the ATV side of things in some time. Now, will that play any roles in today's race? Could it affect the way that this finishes? I mean, these guys generally build their machines to last their most and best for about 2 hours. Once you start going over or closer and over the 2 hours, there's when you start to get a little bit on that thin line maybe in some of those motor builds.
Yeah, I think the main thing would be the fuel. You know, usually they don't run over 2 hours. Now we're running over 2 hours, so the fuel consumption would be something that I would be questioning. As far as the machines, those machines will be able to go that. I don't think that'll be the problem. And the riders themselves, they're used to just going about 2 hours, so they're going to be a little bit tired than normal. But all these guys are locked in the battle right now, and when you're locked in a battle like that and you're getting close to the finish, you're gonna do everything left you got in you to stay ahead of that guy. So I think being a little bit longer, only 10 minutes isn't a big deal. Now, if it would have been a little bit longer than that, two and a half, it would have. And here comes Walker Fowler right now, yelling and screaming at them guys. The lap riders get out of the way nicely, and
I was going to say, yeah,
he's just motoring like it's a Sunday ride.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he is. Now, I got to ask you, from your experience, does a 1 hour, a 15-minute or 10-minute longer race than what you're normally used to, does it really make a big difference, or does it not? I mean, you're at well enough conditioning at this point that it shouldn't matter.
I would 10 minutes, 15 minutes isn't a big deal. Now, a half hour or something like that you would definitely feel it then, but I wouldn't think 10 minutes would affect these guys at all. And as you can see, Walker Fowler's doing wheelies and fist pumps, so I think he can go another hour.
I think he is one of those riders that it could participate in a 3-hour GNCC ATV race, and I think his machine could hold up. I think he could hold up. You know, that's one thing to point out about Walker. I mean, he has had flawless machines the last couple of years. No mechanical breakdowns. I mean, zero mechanicals whatsoever, basically. That is something that he prides himself in, but we also see that happening on the ATV motocross side of things as well. His Yamaha teammate on the ATV MX side, Chad Wienen, has not finished off the podium, had any mechanical issues since 2012 when he started riding a Yamaha. He's never had a mechanical issue on his Yamaha. He's never finished off the podium since he started racing Yamahas in the ATV motocross side of things. Pretty impressive stat there, I think. Says a lot about the Yamaha, too.
Yeah, sure does. Shows that Yamaha builds a really good product with some, good parts on it, and you got a good mechanic. You got to have faith in a mechanic that can build it right, and when he sees a part that needs fixing, that he puts a new part on. And both Walker Fowler and Chad Wienen have that in their riders.
Kind of makes you wonder what was going on a couple of years ago when Balance was still around and Walker was still running in that XC2 Pro M class, and Taylor Kaiser was around, and those guys were seeing their motors go about a few minutes. And what was happening, I think, that they were doing a lot of their mapping. I think a lot of the mapping they were doing was based on some of the motocross setups, and their machines were actually toasting a little early. And at one race, if you remember, Big Buck, within 100 yards, Taylor Kaiser and Walker Fowler broke down within 100 yards of each other. Their machines literally lasted the same amount of time. They were built to the hilt. They were built properly, just mapped out the wrong way, it looked like. And I think they've got that all dialed in. And that's amazing. Those first couple of years figuring out the mapping and dialing that all in is what it took for these guys to be successful, I think, out here in GNCC.
Yeah, and I think, too, the guys felt they were so much on a level playing field with their riding ability that they were looking for a little bit extra out of their motor, and they were just putting a little bit too much in the motor. These motors can only take being run so hard for so long, and then they go ahead and build them up even higher, and that's when all these guys were having troubles and things were going wrong. And I think you'd be pretty impressed to see that Walker Fowler's Yamaha is probably not that much horsepower bigger than what it is as it comes. They put a different pipe in a motor, maybe a cam or something like that, but I don't think they do a whole bunch to it because they want to keep that reliability. And it still comes down to the rider.
Yeah.
No matter how fast your bike is, if you suck, you're not going to win.
Plain and simple.
So, and there goes Walker Fowler right now through the woods. I believe that was him, and at the 7-mile marker. We're getting closer to the finish.
Fist pumping at the 9. Again, loving those camera shots. I mean, Walker Fowler is truly a great Great rider, man. A mile ahead of everybody else out there. He's at the 9. Here comes Chris Borch at the 8. Again, got to commend Chris, even with the rear brake issues. I don't know, maybe he had a rock in it and it's out now because he's not pumping the brakes. Yeah. And he seems to be back up to speed, and it doesn't seem to be holding back any, but maybe he is holding back. He rides faster than that, and we just don't realize it. But another positive day, I think, for Chris Borch, and another step forward for the Chris Borch program, I believe, here today, Fred.
Yeah, Chris Borch has really been putting a lot of good rides, and I'm with you, Rodney. I think his brake may have gotten hot, and when he's not using it, maybe it would have come back, and the fadiness has gone out of it, but he's definitely on the gas, and I think his brake is back also. But it's a good building block for him. He's had some good rides and some bad rides, and he's starting to get them all together. So Snowshoe will be a good ride for him because it's more of a technical one, and Chris is a really smart and good rider, so I'll be interesting to see him there. And then after the break, you know, Chris Borch has got a few months to work on getting what he's learned from the beginning of the year to get Old Yeller back on top.
Yeah, I think he and Old Yeller are finding their flow on those Maxxis tires out there, maximum potential, if you will, as they make things happen out there on that number 4 machine this year. I'm still looking for bigger and better things. You know, I had a chance to talk with Chris Borch, and you could go to the quad-radio.com website, which is a website that I actually do for ATV racers on GNCC and ATV motocross. But we talked with Chris here at the track last night. We uploaded that on, and you know, he talked about a lot of different variables as to what was going on with not being able to get things up to speed. Age was one of the things that he brought up, but he finally concluded that that wasn't even an issue or a factor he didn't believe. So he's hoping for bigger and better things. Right now, Fred, if you look at it, we are now about 3 minutes out from seeing a checker flag flyer scheduled for a checker flag to fly there with Walker Fowler. Chris Borch a mile behind, and some 20 to 30 seconds or so back now in the number 3 spot is Adam McGill.
Yeah, and here comes Jared McClure coming by right now. Looks like he's caught a little bit of time out of McGill, but I think he's going to run out of realty before he gets there. And here comes Bryson Neal also. No, that wasn't Bryson Neal.
That's something you don't see very often in an ATV race. 2 hours and 7 minutes and now 30 seconds at mark. So, yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting.
So we lost Cole Richardson?
I don't know. There comes...
I don't see him on the leaderboard anymore, and I thought that was him behind Jared McClure right there. But
you know, I'm beginning to wonder because he was out front of Bryson, and he scanned, and they had him behind, and I don't think he was had gotten credit for that 4th lap. So we might actually not be seeing him check in for a 4th lap. He might not have scanned in, and I may be completely wrong, but I'm thinking that the 733 is out there. It's a matter of timing and scoring that is wrong, particularly at this moment.
Because I thought that was him right behind Bryson Neal, but it didn't show it on the leaderboard. But either way, whoever it was, those two guys were hooked up together. And like I said, Jared McClure is still in 4th place, and he's got a little bit too much room here to make up on Adam McGill with only 2 miles left to go.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the amateurs as we are only just a couple of minutes out, less than 2 minutes now. We didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but remember last race, Devin Feehan, College A class leader, was all the way up to like 9th place. I think that's where he finished overall. Well, he's backing it up again here today as he checks in 14th place overall. Your top... no, I take that back. He is 2nd, and he is backing it up because Hunter Hart was behind him, and there is Hunter Hart in 12th. In the overall from the amateur side of things, and there's Cole Richardson finally making his way through, it looks like, Fred. So we see that he is still out there, so I think it's a timing and scoring issue rather than Cole
but he's not up as far as what I thought it was either. He's not behind Bryson Neal anymore because Bryson Neal has already gone by. So I'm not sure what place.
Well, he was there a bit ago. I do know that, but yep. XC2 Pro-Am, Christopherson, Covert, Collier, 1, 2, and 3. Wolf is in 4th. Hunter Hart is 12th overall, leading the top amateur in the College A 16 to 24-year-old class. 23-second lead over Devin Feehan. So congratulations. We actually got some Vet A guys up front. A.J. Kuntz, Dustin Hendershot, and Joey Margari are 18th, 19th, and 20th overall right now. And I'm going to venture to say that you could bump everybody down past about 5th place or so because Cole Richardson should be actually figured into that. But we'll let the officials take care of that, and we'll just call it the way we're looking at it at the moment, as we're now nearly 2 hours and 10 minutes into this one, and Walker Fowler is making his way into the final and closing moments of the second annual Tomahawk GNCC, and Walker Fowler is ready to do it again.
That guy says, I don't want to go. You go.
Go ahead.
I'm done.
All right, Walker Fowler has done it. Win number 2 in a row, and win number 2 here in the great state of New York, Seneca Highlands, as he is now your only ATV overall race winner here after 2 years of racing in this illustrious GNCC affair. Walker Fowler expands the points lead now. A race ago, only 7 points leading into it, 19 points after that particular race in Ohio, and after today we can probably put at least another 5, make that 8 points on top of that. So if, what did I say, 22 points, we're back closer to that 30 point difference. Man, that is the kind of comfort zone he's looking at heading into Snowshoe, because in the grand scheme of things, he could go in there, not even finish, not even race, and still come out with a points lead.
Yeah, I think his new favorite word is going to be 30, not 18 anymore. But no, you're exactly right. Walker Fowler's done what
he needed to do.
Yeah, he's built that points lead back up real quick. You know, they got it. Adam McGill got it down, and he was getting nervous, but now Walker Fowler stepped it up, and Adam McGill's had a few bad races, and that's the cool thing about GNCC points is when you win, you get a reward. You know, there's not just 1 point difference. When you win, you get some bonus points, and Walker Fowler's using those bonus points to pad that lead back up for Snowshoe coming up.
That's for sure. So actually, I was thinking 25 points, but now that you mentioned it, it is 30 points for a first place position win, right? Or is it different? No, it's 30 points, and it's 25 for second. So in theory, if I'm calculating this right, and Walker Fowler has a 30-point lead, he could go in, not scoring points, and still come out tied for first place heading into
Adam McGill.
If Adam McGill was to win that. So that's another if. There's a lot of ifs in GNCC right now, and heading into this second half of the season like this, man, there are a lot of ifs, whats, and how comes. 1 minute and 54 seconds back in second. You can hear the horns going off as the crowd goes nuts for Chris Borch, finishing up in second place. Another progressive day there for Chris. Obviously, it's not where he wanted to be. Got the whole shot earlier today. And you would think, okay, Chris Borch got the whole shot. It's time to go into checkout mode. But Chris has never been one to like to lead, although I know he would have rather have led today. Early part of the race is not his. He talked about it last night in the interview you can listen to there. You can find it on the Facebook page, my Quad Radio Facebook page. But he talked about it, not only age, but arm pump. Arm pump was another thing. He says early in the race he gets that arm pump. And I think that maybe the nerves got to him as he got that whole shot, got an established other lead. Everything was falling into place, and that might have been another factor for Chris Borch in the early part of the race. We'll find out here on the podium coming up here in just a few moments. Adam McGill does check in, 11 seconds back in the number 3 spot. Jared McClure 16 seconds behind him in the number 4 position. And Bryson Neal 33 seconds back rounds out your top 5. So though Bryson Neal did not finish on the podium, he does gain a top 5 position. He was running as far back as 8th place in the early part of this race, but up to 5th. It may not put him in that podium and make him now 7 for 8, but he is 6 out of 8 podiums, and well, I'll tell you, it looks like a lot of top 5s in the meantime, as we have no monitor, but I believe we got ourselves a fastback that is lining up right there. The big question is, who is the all-time ATV race wins leader? Who has the all-time wins?
We've seen him a lot today on the screen.
Yes, we have. As a matter of fact, GNCC Live will be back right after this with that answer and podium celebrations when we return.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
The Andersons discovered life is easier with an Outlaw RV. The Outlaw is a complete home on wheels with a multifunctional garage. Getting on the road has never been quicker. The Outlaw is made to fit the lifestyle of today's active families. So stop roughing it and start enjoying your weekends. Find the Thor Motor Coach Outlaw that fits your needs at GarageRVs.com today.
And welcome back to GNCC Live, where we just wrapped it up. A little over 2 hours of racing, about 2 hours and 9 minutes and 32 seconds to be exact for Walker Fowler. And the question we left you with is, who leads the all-time ATV overall race wins list? Well, I tell you, we had opportunities to guess Bob Sloan, Barry Hawk, Bill Balance, or Chris Borch. The answer is Chris Borch, the all-time race wins leader with 73 overall wins. Bill Balance is second there with, actually in the ATV ranks at 67. You notice that Barry Hawk is third with 49 race wins. That's ATV-only race wins, but you add the ATVs and the bikes, Barry Hawk has 68 overall wins, so he is second on the all-time race wins list and third in the all-time ATV race wins list. Kind of neat. A little bit of trivia there for you. And the GNCC Live Fast Facts at you today. A new element brought to the show. Look at that big, beautiful, fluffy clouds in the sky. Seeing that blue sky, we've seen temperatures drop from into the 60s and low 70s up to the 80s. It's getting hot and stuffy now. The wind's still blowing, but wow, what a day today, man. These riders, we've seen lots of sun. We've seen overcast. It got hot. It got cool. I mean, these guys rode a relative season change out there, I think, today during that 2 hours of racing, Fred.
Yeah, Rodney, at the beginning of the day, we had the rain clouds over top. We thought we were going to be in for a little bit of mud, but the wind just pushed that away, and I think these guys had a great day. We had a little bit of everything out there. Had some nice cover to keep them cool. Then the sun came out and warmed us up here in the booth, and people had fun watching, and it was just a great day for GNCC racing here in New York. It
was. When it kicked off, the green flag flew, and grabbing that early lead and $250 whole shot award there was Chris Borch. And from that point on, it got pretty heated pretty fast, Fred.
Yeah, Walker Fowler was all over him. Walker Fowler knew what he wanted to do today, and you could tell just by the first turn, because Walker was first going in, but he spun a little, and Chris passed him, and I think Walker was a little shocked by that, and he was outside, inside, and he knew he wanted to get in the lead. Like he said in the interview, he knew it was going to be a little bit dusty. He wanted to be in the front and let those guys eat his dust, and he wanted to set the pace, and he did exactly that.
He did exactly that, and that left the rest to fend for the scraps back there in that number 2 position, where Adam McGill seemed to have a pretty good handle on things, and I think at one point it may have looked like he was keeping pace with, if not, maybe gaining a little bit on Walker Fowler at one point in the early part, but that soon went away when Chris Borch was able to get back up into position and track Adam McGill down, and that race tightened up, and we were wondering, would that take these guys forward or would it slow them down? Now, whether it slowed them down or Walker was just going that fast, I don't know, but the one thing that we didn't see, it didn't close that gap back up on him.
Yeah, when Adam McGill came through the pack on all the dust and passed all those guys and caught Chris Borch and passed him, I thought, whoa, Adam McGill is on the move. He's going to be trying to catch Walker Fowler, and that's when I thought would happen, but that never happened. Adam McGill could never catch up on Adam McGill could never catch up on Walker Fowler like that.
And then what happened there toward the end of the race, we saw Adam McGill give the wave around to Chris Borch. Chris Borch developing what looked like some sort of brake issues, and then Adam McGill got back around him because Chris had slowed down, and it looked like
the situation rectified itself for Chris Borch. He got back on the gas, was able to get back around Adam, whether or not he led him around and he was still maintaining just a steady pace, or whether Chris picked it up or not. Right there's the replay we're watching. He waves him around, and finally he goes on around him, and then it's back and forth, But once Chris gets around him out there you can see him there, he's kicking.
And then watch it when he stands up coming out. He's still kicking on it.
Yeah, so that was a problem, and that might have been part of that issue for Chris Borch, and that might have been why he might not have been able to run the pace that he had hoped, or the one that Walker was setting today. But regardless, Chris was able to get back around him. He got second. Adam did hold on for third with a hard late race charge by Jerry McClure and Bryson Neal, as a matter of fact, who was all the way back in 8th place for the biggest part of this race today.
Yeah, I picked that. Bryson Neal was back that far, and I expected Bryson Neal to catch up like that, but I thought, those guys up front were going so fast and he was so far back, that's just as far as he could get today. He couldn't get any further up than that, and Cole Richardson was up there for a while, and then, he's fallen back to, what did he get, 6th place today, so it's a good ride for him. And, we're talking like 4th, 5th, and 6th, like, oh, that's all they could do. Well, these guys are still great, fast riders. The leaders are on the gas, and when you're that far back trying to come forward, man, it's almost impossible to catch them. And another thing I was thinking about the Chris Borch thing we talked about, maybe his brake was bad when he was kicking it. He could have got a rock stuck in there, and the brake could have been just on a little bit, like Megawatt said, and it just made it get hot, and he lost it. And when he was kicking on, that rock finally popped out, and it took a whole lap or so for that oil to cool down for it to start working again.
Well, I tell you what, we had a great day of racing this afternoon. There's no doubt about it. But the prelude to that was this morning's racing, and we had a great 4x4 battle as well.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to RacerTV.com. We're here with our 4x4 Pro winner this afternoon, Kevin Cunningham. Kevin, you just got done telling me, man, you had to climb out from under the machine here this afternoon, got to flip back over, and still made it up to the top of the podium here. Let us know a little bit about that race.
We got off to a decent start there. I think we were 4th or 5th, and just kind of settled in a little bit, and got behind Ben Bruce, and he made a mistake, and his bike got flipped up in a second option line, and I went around him. Well, when it come back down, it rolled into me, and it flipped the back of the bike up, kind of just tipped over, and I ended up kind of just rolling to the side of it, and luckily it wasn't like Indiana round where it was muddy and couldn't flip it back over, but got it flipped back over and basically worked my tail off to get back up to the front. But had a good day. Wasn't easy, but track ended up being pretty awesome, and I'm glad the rain held out.
Awesome, man. Congratulations on another win. We'll see you on the podium here in just a minute.
All right, thank you.
Back to you guys in the studio.
Kevin Cunningham is really coming a long way in some big strides in that 4x4 program. Preluding the 4x4 Pro battle we saw out there this morning was another great race. It was the youth racing. Took off at 8 o'clock this morning, and Turbo Tim was able to make it happen again.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to RacerTV.com. We're here with the first winner of our day, our youth winner, Turbo Tim Soroka. Tim, one more time out there getting it done here in Odessa, New York. Tell us how your race went.
I got off to a decent start. I think I was like second, actually. Dylan, I followed Dylan a while. He hit a tree. He was behind a lapper. I got around him, and after I just put my head down and rode my own race.
How's the track look out there this morning?
It's really dry. It was dusty for us. It's really rough. It got rough towards the end.
Looked like a pretty fast pace out there. Able to get out front and get an early lead. Use that to your advantage?
Yeah, there's a lot of field, so every time I'd get in the field, I'd pass as many lappers as I can, because once I got back in the woods, the lappers would be in front of the person in second, so I kind of used that as a strategy.
Right on. Well, congratulations on another win. There you have it. Our youth overall winner this morning, Tim Soroka. Back to you guys in the studio.
All righty, and thanks a lot, Megawatt, for that this morning. As you can see, it's rather windy here atop of the hill as we overlook Watkins Glen from beautiful Odessa here at Seneca Highlands. And we've got the Maxxis Victory Lane big tire taken down right now. We've got the podium backdrop actually rolled up, because that's like a big say-ho out there, and that thing was about ready to flip the podium over there, believe it or not. But it doesn't quiet down the celebrations, doesn't make them any less important, that's for sure, as we head down to the podium where Megawatt is standing by for our Victory Lane celebrations.
All right, New York, make some noise for our top three overall. Put your hands together. Wait a minute, Adam, did anybody show up? Tell them.
I don't think I heard anybody. Let's make some noise.
That's more like it. That's exactly what we need to hear from this crowd. You guys have been electric all day. Adam, I tell you, an amazing race, back and forth all day long. You told me, you said, man, I'm getting fat. I don't think that's hardly the case, man. I think that you had some tough conditions today. You worked through it, and, man, you're up here on the podium.
Yeah. I mean, the house and the wedding's definitely putting the belly on me, but damn, it feels good to be back up here. I thought we'd be able to run Walker down. He had a good pace going. I guess he just had the bigger snake.
I can tell you this much. The conditions today, they were very similar to last year. Tell us what the differences were.
Biggest difference was I didn't get as good a start this year as I did last year. I think I was third or fourth, and made some passes quick, got around, and got up into second. I'm like, all right, let's go. And I started putting the hammer down and started clipping trees. I clipped one. I'm like, oh, it'll be all right. I'm going again. I clip another one, and I'm just like, damn, I need to slow down a little bit. It ain't like the Penton, you can't just push these things like we do everywhere at every track. It's different everywhere we go, and we had some issues, but for the most part, everything did well. I'm very pleased. We don't have a whole lot of good luck here, but we sure do have some kick-ass fans.
That's the key right there. Hey, tell us who helped you put this RG Power Sports Honda up there, man.
Oh, definitely. Like you said, RG Power Sports, supplying the bike with me, or for me. CST tires were great. Even off the line, they pulled awesome. Induction Solutions, I hit the button. That nitrous pulled hard, just not quite hard enough. We might have to put a bigger jet in it next time. We have Lone Star with the DC Pro components. Custom Axis shocks were great out here. Tire Box, DeRisi Racing, Spider Graphics, always making me look good. Baldwin with the engines, pulled hard. Alco Cleaners, FMF, GoPro, Get It Performance, Hyper Wheels. By far the best wheels out here. No problems all day. Cycra, ODI Grips, Dirtworks, 24 volts, UPP, Wiseco, Vanilla Gorilla, Liat, Fast Company. We have IMS, we have RGE Motorsports, like you said, Custom Axis Shocks, Pirate MX, Twin Air, Sunstar, Moose Racing, DP Brakes, Scott, Works Connection, RGR, Streamline, Quantec, almost done. Throttle Out, Boysen, Mayer, Outerwears, Renegade Fuels, All Balls, Evans, and Bel Air Oils. And of course, all you fans, we'd like to be in the center, but we'll be back.
New York, make some noise for Adam McGill, third place today. Over here on the other end of the podium, Chris, step up to the front there, man. Chris Borsch for the second place. Let me hear you make some noise today for the number 4 machine. Chris, I tell you got off to the early hole shot. We're going to present you a check here in just a minute. We got an award for that. Had a great start, and then all of a sudden, man, we see some issues starting to rise up. Man, I see you stomping on that daggone brake pedal. I'm like, man, tell me it's a stick, tell me it's a rock, but those brakes went away on the first lap.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. They look like brand new brake pads in the rear, and middle of the first lap, me and Walker were ripping, and he kind of got me just a little bit, and then all of a sudden I lost the brakes, and I was like, all right, trying to smash the brakes and trying to ride them and get them back, and nothing coming back at all. So it was just figure a way to ride the bike, and that's what we had to do all day, just downshifting a lot, revving the bike out, and just using the front brakes a ton. So
I'm not sure people realize how hard it is just using that front brake. Yeah, the front brake slows you down a lot, but the rear brake controls the whole attitude and pitch of the bike, correct?
Yeah, that helps you just slide in the corners, just charge corners a lot harder than what I was doing, and just keeps the bike planted too. I mean, we keep our foot on the brake, just drag it a little bit, just try to keep the rear end down and get the most traction out of it. But all in all, it was a great day. I mean, track was awesome, got real rough, but it was still fun with no rear brakes.
Hey, man, who helped put you and Old Yeller up here today, man?
Well, let's step back here. Well, definitely my mom, my dad, my wife Dawn, her friends, my brother Steve, everybody that comes out and supports me and rides at the house. I mean, it's a big help just getting people to come and ride with me, and definitely Maxxis tires. I mean, these things we're hooking up there awesome, and this real slick condition, couldn't ask for a better tire. Wiseco CV4, Scott goggles, Renthal bars, Forworks, Acerbies, Yield Cycle Barn, Brian and Alicia. Can't thank those guys enough. I mean, they're helping me out a bunch with the Suzuki parts and just getting it rolling. Maxxis tires, SSI decals, Fox shocks, VP fuels, Evans, Twin Air tire balls. That was a must out there today. I mean, there was a lot of sharp rocks out there. Quadtech, Hyper, OIP, Energy Controls, IQ, Precision, Trek mountain bikes. Hinton, Walsh Racing, Mike Walsh and those guys building just awesome components. HMF, Amsoil, Shoei, Fly Racing for keeping me looking fresh, and looking fly for sure, and just all the fans out there, I appreciate it.
Hey, let's hear it, Odessa, one more time. Make some noise for this guy right here, Chris Borsch in second place. Chris, we're going to get you a check here for that whole shot in 1 second. But over here in the middle, one more time, 2 weeks in a row, 2 races in a row, Walker Fowler. Make some noise, New York. Let's hear it. Tell us about it, Walker. I tell you got out to that early lead. Didn't necessarily get the whole shot, but you took command. You took command right away, and saw you looking, glancing back, kind of gauging yourself, gauging the distance. What was going through your mind, man? Could you believe you were kind of setting that pace that early?
It was just like the last race. I was like, that's kind of my specialty. If I can just get away, just go, and try to make these guys really push to the limit and try to catch me, it overheats motors and brake pads and everything else. So we were just trying to get out there and go as hard as we could for as long as we could, and started to pump up a little bit on the lap 2, but I was still pulling away, so I just took a real tight section, got my breath, and it was game on from there. I felt awesome all day. Just an awesome day, man. This place treats me really well. This is the second year we've been here, and a second year in a row that we've had a big win here. So love the track, the bike. Well, we're gonna get blown away. Hold on to your hats. No. So, this machine, this NFAB and Pro Maxxis Yamaha just works absolutely phenomenal at this track, and it's always cool to win here. New York has some awesome fans. They love us, so thank you guys. Really appreciate everyone in the woods that was helping us out and cheering for us.
Who's always backing us, man? Who's helping us get up here?
First and foremost, want to give the glory to God, and definitely got to thank my top-notch mechanic here. He's just incredible. Like I said, this bike, we won when it was brand new. We won on the second ride, so now we just got to conquer snowshoe on the old girl, but she'll be ready. Got to give my parents a big shout-out. They just make the weekend so much easier for me. They really do a lot all week, and they always have. So thank you, Mom and Dad, the whole Notman family, the Richardson family. Thank you guys for everything you guys do. Definitely got to give a shout-out. Where's Timmy Sroke at? My man, 5 in a row today. He's a local guy, so it's super cool to see these kids, knocking off wins and being dominant too. I definitely appreciate that. And man, these fans, that was awesome. Thank you guys. You guys are really awesome in the woods. My whole Florida family and my beautiful girlfriend watching back home. Thank you guys. And we'll start on sponsors. Bear with me here. It's a long list. We got the whole NFAB Maxxis and Pro Yamaha team, Lone Star, MXP, Hill International Trucks, MSR, Fox Suspension, DB Brakes, Tire Balls, Bell Helmets, Gold Speed Wheels is a new sponsor for this race, so it's awesome to bolt these things on and get a win for them out the first, right out the box on the bike, right out the gate, we get a win for them, so thanks guys. Vortex Ignitions, Fast Flex Handlebars, Outerwears, Precision Yamalube, Moto Seat, FMF, Anti-Gravity Batteries, Cycra, VP Fuels, Wiseco, Fuel Customs Intakes, Winsburg Yamaha, Atlas Neck Brace. This thing is absolutely the most comfortable thing ever. IMS CB4 webcams. This thing is starting good. That makes my day really easy. GYTR, DID, TM Designs, D4 Power Sports is another company in Florida. Oh boy, it's getting real. DNV Trucking, Scott Goggles, John Knowles of Scott, thank you, man. Our vision's always clear. A+ Powder Coating, Graphic Works, RCP, and my man Paul Turner. And hopefully everyone is going to head out to Snowshoe. That's a big party up there. It's a blast, and we're going in with a bigger than 30-point lead. So that was my goal with the first race, and we've achieved that. So one more goal after that.
Right on, Walker. Congratulations. I'm going to hand you this bottle. We're going to find everybody else theirs. We know what time it is. It's time to pop that top, throw that spray. Odessa, one more time. Make some noise for all three of these guys. Let's hear it for real, you guys.
Well, there you have it, folks. So the victor goes to Spoils, and the Spoils in GNCC. The sweet, sweet spray of champagne. And there you go. Walker Fowler able to celebrate 2 wins in a row back-to-back here after 3 consecutive not wins. And look at that. That's still the kind of camaraderie that those two have, even in the heated championship battle that they have amongst themselves. 2 riders that grew up together. They came through, Adam a little bit further ahead in the ranks, but they did a lot of traveling together as Walker grew, and they grew together as racers and now are working together and trying to win championships out there. I think it's pretty cool. So we take a look at the Tomahawk leaderboard, Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com leaderboard. Walker Fowler, Chris Borch, Adam McGill, your top 3. We knew that. Jared McClure holds on for 4th, and Bryson Neal, Great ride for him today for 5th place. Cole Richardson in 6th. Marty Christopherson, your XC2 Pro-Am class winner, takes 7th overall. Jay Shadron is 8th overall, 7th in class. Greg Covert 2nd in the XC2 Pro-Am class, 9th overall. And Cody Collier is 3rd in the XC2 Pro-Am class and takes 10th place overall here at the Dunlop Tomahawk GNCC, and I believe that we're going to be congratulating Chris Borch here in a moment. From the sounds of things down at the podium, I think that the swag bag has been opened, and folks are wanting some of that great stuff from Adam McGill, and Chris Borch, and Walker Fowler. They bring down bags of stuff to throw out to the race fans, so if you're at the podium, you're going to walk away with pretty special memories. Down to Megawatt now.
Hey guys, we're down here with Chris Borch one more time. Chris, we want to present you with the XC1 ATV Whole Shot Award. Compliments of Wiseco if we don't get blown away. Old Yeller was barking through the start on that one, man, sounding good. Tell us what you think about that whole shot today.
Yeah, definitely. Got to thank my buddy Chris Bithell. When he was riding the Suzuki, he gave me a little secret on how to start these things. So it's we got 3 this year. Never had that many before. So thank you, Bithell.
Hey, and I got to tell you, I accidentally called you Bithell halfway through lap 1.
Well, it looks like Bithell's bike. I mean, it was number 4 as well. So, but yeah, it's a bummer he's not out here with us. He was a heck of a racer. But yeah, thanks for giving me advice.
Congratulations on another whole shot, man. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
There you have it. Back to you guys.
All right, and thanks a lot again, Megawatt, as we check out our AMSOIL Twitter contest winner, Tim Akers. He has AMSOIL put-in predictions of Walker Fowler, Chris Borch, and Adam McGill, and he got it right. Picks himself up $250 in sweet, sweet AMSOIL product. That's at Akers517XC. He's a cross-country man himself. And here's your Instagram photo winner. And how do you? GNCC Live, that is Valentib. After a year-long tour in Korea, hashtag West Virginia Live, hashtag GNCC Live, while on a buggy ride after a year-long tour in Korea. It means he is a serviceman, and we certainly thank you for your presence. And look at that Wexer. Remember, we co-sanctioned with them. He's a Wexer fan as well as a GNCC fan. He's watching on his phone out in the woods. Way to go, Valentib. Man, glad to have you watching and online with us. And we're going to get you a Jared McClure Moto Tees event souvenir shirt. We're going to be sending that on the way to you here soon. Thanks a lot, and thanks again for your service in the forces there. Fred, what a day again. Those big fluffy clouds. We see some hints of blue skies behind them, and that's pretty much going to wrap things up as far as today's program is concerned. We got more celebrations with our Pro-Am and top amateurs, and we'll also have our micro motorcycle and ATV race coming up here shortly, but that's going to wrap things up for us here on RacerTV.com. Another great day. Thanks again for sticking it out with us and watching another spectacular day of racing, Fred Andrews.
Yes, sir, Rodney. You know, every time we come to one of these things, we're never let down. It's always good racing. We never know what's going to happen, and what we saw today was some really good racing. You know, the crowd was into it. Everybody was into it. The track was good. We couldn't ask for a better day with the weather and everything, so I'm looking forward to going to Snowshoe.
No doubt about it. That's in 2 weeks, and we'll be back more tomorrow with GNCC Live about 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Be sure and tune in to RacerTV.com for that. On behalf of Matt Watson, Fred Andrews, and the rest of our RacerTV.com staff, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody. And now down to the podium where Megawatt Matt Watson stands by to